going to be a quick counter-attack. Sai loses the ball. Big knock forward. Waterfall's down, and he'll find the target. Opened up from the heavens. Down, a Decadencia player gets a touch right in field. And hold on a minute. This could be on target. Ripray knocks out.
Isaac trying to bring this ball away. Flipping into the middle. No, NC cuts it off the sidewall. Beautiful redirect. Clear, but Dantronex collects. It's over to the left side where Silence lies. What a pass inside. Dirk and Jazz working together. The low 50 played. Ball into no man's land. Hill motion. Takes to the skies, off the ceiling, reset, dunks down!
And Clifty will look to try and take a shot at the upper finals. Still waiting for its real opening. Clifty off the ceiling. Hold on a minute. He will find the redirect! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's another month. It's another Redirect 3v3 monthly. Number 29, pushing for that 30 mark. It's actually the 29th as well of a date, which was also going to be a point of conversation here, because why are we waiting the entire month? My goodness, I'm always so excited when a new month comes, but sometimes they have to be scheduled for a little bit later. But it's same old, ladies and gentlemen. It is high octane action. It is myself, Sir Pegasus, joined by Quanzak.
Have you ever tried, instead of high octane, like high dominus or high fennec?
High fennec? I'm never going to say high dominus. You know what? Redirect monthly number 30. Say I can make it. We will definitely throw that one out there and see if we get any question marks in chat.
I mean, I've said high octane my entire casting career, and it just works because there's it's a saying, but I've always found it funny there's an actual car in the game. So one of these days, try high fennec and see how much it flops.
And we'll just see how mental we can get. High Proteus, actually.
Yeah, high Proteus. High Merc. Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to be back on the Redirect Monthly, and Haz is gonna force us along and show the bracket. He's tired of us yapping about whatever. We are into the upper final. Scald eSports and Bonk will be the matchup here on stream. Both of them have had a journey getting here. I mean, tough upper semifinals going to 3 apiece. And on the lower side, ReckenRockets have been kind of stumbling their way through, Pig. We have a couple DQs on the bracket from them, but they have been playing the games that they've been responsible for and collecting some wins. So they will go ahead and face the winner of 1, 2, 3 and Brave Esports, all for the quest of the grand final, of placing on the podium and walking away with a little bit of payday.
Absolutely. It's actually been quite some time since we had a situation like that, like in the lower quarterfinal, where a team just straight up forgot to check in. We've dubbed it the Team Ascend situation from a few opens back. One of the best admin decisions that has ever been made in a Redirect Monthly. Unfortunately, had to repeat itself. But as well on that bracket, in that upper semi-final, Bonk taking down 1, 2, 3. We believe that is a 2/3 women's roster, making it the furthest a woman has ever gotten in a Redirect Monthly. That's a team of Neon, Rias, and Cloudy. They now, of course, have to play Brave Esports and then ReckenRockets if they do want to get themselves on the main broadcast. But that's definitely going to be one of those matchups to look out for. But one of those matchups that we're forced to look out for is, of course, the upper finals, the road to Grands. You get yourself that first game advantage if you get this series win. And these are two extremely strong rosters. Scald Esports versus Bonk. Anaric, Skyrix, and Mamilo Sama. You see those flags on your left-hand side, and you know that boss music has already started playing for any opponents. And Deno, Kekos, and I believe it was Mio we agreed off broadcast with our observer for the day, Smoothie, for that team. So we're going to go for that for the rest of the day. We'll try our very best, but of course that is going to be a big mention today. We're actually a team of 4 instead of a team of 3. So be sure to drop some love for Smoothie. He'll be our POV for the day. But these two teams got a fair bit of history behind them, Quanzag. This should be a pretty intense matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, you know, the Redirect Monthlies I do are the only bit of bubble scene EU that I typically glean. It's not a whole, I'm not super involved in the scene typically. So when the matchup contains names that I recognize, it's a big deal. And so I'm excited for this upper final here, because there are names that I recognize, and French ones at that. So obviously it's the peak caliber of Rocket League. You and I were just having a debate the other day of like, oh, you guys are so washed at Rocket League and NA. Like, yeah, Europe is too, outside of France. Like, they're the only region that dominates everything. You are gonna claim them falsely, but yeah, we'll go ahead and get into the game for game number 1. It is not, in fact, game 3. It is game number 1, and Scald eSports will be taking on Bonk here.
Absolutely. They are our first seeds heading into this tournament. A bit of conversation around Scald eSports, especially around the likes of Mamilo Sama, who as late of yesterday was actually banned from Rocket League. There was that initial ban wave that came out. Sung, unfortunately, got unwillingly swept in that force undeservedly. Mamilo Sama was one of them, but some conversation with Devin Connors now has his account back, primed and prepared for the Redirect Monthly. They'll also be your number 1 seeded team in this matchup. Best of 5 has to force his way through. Quite an aggressive roster. You said that it was France versus the rest of the world in the wider scales of Rocket League. That remains the same here in the upper final. It's Skyrix for the double, saved by Bonk.
Great save. I mean, they've had a couple really good last-second saves already this game, which goes to show you how much they can hang, but also the pressure that Scald has been putting on. This one, once again, dangerous and intentional fake. Mamilo, bottom left, won't be able to slot it, but the creativity for Scald coming out in waves right now. Good fake by Miho. That one controlled by Skyrix. He's going to go for an air dribble bump, removes one defender, so Kekros had to cut his rotation short. And Bonk, they're really just trying to fight against the tide right now, Pig. It's been nothing but pressure. They've held on strong thus far, but I feel like something's going to have to change. Otherwise, you feel like a goal is coming.
You know, get stopped there by Enrique, but Bonk haven't quite given up on this attack, defending about halfway line, looking to keep that pressure forward. That was a wonderful inside pass, but Dino still has more work to do here. Kekos will look to cut inside from the corner, and Enrique's done well with those first 2 touches. Milo Sama will try to look for that backboard once more, but Bonk have done well to defend it for the time being. That was a quick burning flame. That offense again falls back to Bonk. As a team with all the pressure, Seeding would say that this was the unexpected outcome, but we know anything can happen with these 2 top teams.
I love the pace of play we're getting right now. Back and forth action and a fantastic dunk by Mamilo. I thought this one was just going to be cleared easily. He's still on the play to deny Dino the clearance.
And that's what he's been looking for the entirety of this opening game. That backboard already bruised and beaten, and Bonk thought they had it covered, this time playing for the touch. It's a gorgeous way to grab your first goal and just proves that it's not necessarily about the quantity of attack. The quality is high. 2 touches once more. The post will deny the first attack, but Mamilo is there for the follow. 3 shots, 2 goals. Pure efficiency from the Frenchman.
Man, they look so good, Pig. No wonder they're the number 1 seed. I mean, Bonk are a quality roster, but they look like they're scrambling. They're trying to find these touches. They're trying to sort out what exactly is happening to them, and it's just so quick-paced from Scald that Bonk just look like a fish out of water at times. They've shown flashes, though, and I'm not going to count this team out when they've already had a couple really good scoring opportunities in this game 1. Demo in the corner, Enric carrying it towards the net. He will temporarily get on top of Kekos as they'll have a little bit of fun. As Skyrix off to the ceiling gets bumped there, but the drop down, him and Emilio were challenged together. And Scald eSports just continuing to maintain possession here, Pig, up until it goes into their own corner.
Skyrix of his own back wall needs that second touch. Kekos challenges early. Mamilo will look for that layoff, and he's got teammates on either side of him. This time, Bo resorting to keeping it alone, plays for that corner boost, and even if Bonk can get a few touches on the ball, it's still a lot of effort required if they want to create any meaningful attack. That 50 doesn't land well. That double commit, Bo, forces out all that control Scald eSports had into the favor of Bonk. They've done well on the recovery. Now it's going to be Mio to pop this one high and attack. His back to Skuld eSports. Here's one on the backboard, cleared out once more.
Backflip. Recognizes if he goes up for that challenge, he's going to lose a really bad 50. His teammate was in a better position. Another 50 along that side. Well, Dano against Mimilo. This one, selected by Skyrix. Going to fake out both sides, actually. Didn't want the ball. Wanted to fake out their opposition. So we do a couple loop-de-loops and get back to it. Bonk, this clock continues to tick down. 45 seconds. And while they've had opportunities, they have not yet found the back of the net. And that's going to be mandatory if they want to hope to win this game 1. As it stands right now, though, Skuld are still looking lethal offensively. Great infield pass. What a save. How has that stayed out? It won't stay out for long. And Anaric will make it 3.
Unbelievable. Once they get themselves in these positions, there's not many teams that feel like they can stop them. Dino tried so hard, got that initial save, and looked primed and prepared for the second one thereafter. Skuld eSports never leave a man out of activity, off the ball, still going for those extra bumps and making sure that third man is prepared as well if that clearance did eventually come out. Double padlocked, triple padlocked, always prepared for every situation. It feels like a team that, no matter if that possession is in their favor, they just find a way to maintain control. Mio will look to take this forward. They do manage to collect their first goal of the series. But at this rate, 7 seconds left on the clock. This feels like a momentum build. This feels like consolation heading into game 2.
You'll take consolation at this point. You want any sort of momentum in your corner, especially a goal that's your first of the series, indicating that, hey, you can score on them. You can be better in certain instances. Need that little refresh in your head every now and then, and getting that before game 2 of a series is going to be pretty important. So while it is just a little bit of consolation, a snack for the road, Miho, I'm sure, was happy to collect it regardless, but the winner will not change. It will be Skuld eSports taking away the victory in game 1, and they looked very good doing it, Pig.
They really did. Skuld are scorching hot out of the first game, and Bonk, try as they would like, they looked strong in those first 2 minutes, but as time started to progress, you could start to see those scales starting to tip towards the Francophone roster. That's when it starts to get tough. It was 12 shots to 5 by the end of it, and that is a complete antithesis of what I was expecting after those first 45 seconds, but that is how good that this roster can be. No matter what type of opponents they're facing, they psych them out early, and they can just find out that game plan so quickly, whether it is going to be that high pressing offense or sitting back in defense. We spoke about it a little bit on the round stream yesterday, Quanzek. The best teams aren't those that find their pace. It's those that can constantly change it dynamically based on the position at hand. And Skuld eSports did that perfectly.
And such a good tool in Rocket League. You're 100% correct that if you can throttle the amount of pace that you're giving, force your opponent to react to them, especially in a game that is as fluid as Rocket League is, it's really hard to adapt in real time to what your opponent is doing. If you're able to catch them off guard, you're going to have advantages abound. And Bonk, they're going to have to change things. They did look good in that initial 45 seconds. Yes, they got a goal at the very end, but currently outpaced, and this isn't going to help.
Certainly not. Quick kickoff. And Bonk already face their deficits. And this is going to call for a big response. You want to get yourself out early, you want to strike first, especially after a loss, but now you're back into those same waters from the match beforehand, and they were rather tumultuous beforehand, and especially with a team that seems to get better as time goes on, you don't want to concede that to Skuld.
Eric gets that ball taken off his head. Maybe an opportunity here, straight towards the net goes that ball. Bonk gonna collect. Kekaw's good flip. Can he get over to Dano? No, but maybe Miho. The defense from Skuld too strong. Bonks looked good last game. Skuld's looking even better this time around, and they denied the equalizer.
And Eric trying to get himself onto the ball here, but those wall dashes somewhat uncontained. Skyrix won't get that second touch of the wall either. Bonk have time to play a little bit more calculated. Wanted to try and find Dino on the end of it. Instead, Eneric has been able to disrupt for the time being. All three players and score with a decent amount of boost as well in their defenses to make their way out. Milo to put back to the test, but Deno's prepared this time, looking to get himself back forward. This is the start that they had in the game beforehand, where they were preventing any of that space moving forward from Skull, but as soon as it's conceded, that's when you start to get a little bit shaky. Skull have done it yet again. There's a player left inside, defended out to the corner. Dino will collect and is able to escape as well with his life.
Dino. Hard work there in the corner. I really have enjoyed this pressure that Bonk has set up for themselves. If they can just maintain it, not let loose like they did previously, it's going to do them some favors. Skyrick's going to watch him and Anaric double commit for that ball as Deno. Going to collect, flip past one. Attempted dunk by Miho. Will play that one into the corner. Now, good back check there by Kekos. Dropped down. Deno, wide open next. Skyrick's recognizes it in the pace. Couldn't slot that ball in.
And you just feel like that was the moment for Bonk to get themselves back in the series. Skull eSports were completely on the back foot. The position fully favoring the orange side, and still they couldn't get themselves over the line. Skyrix will turn this ball back around. Anaric, though, is waiting close behind. That's an unbelievable mind game zero through steal. Finding that target. Bonk's forced for a goal line clearance. And how is that the team with desperation? When you see the positions that Skull eSports are in, it doesn't matter. It's the power of the nameplates. It's the power of the Milo-sama.
It took one real trip into the offensive half for Skull eSports to put Bonk on the ropes and immediately slot in the goal with an opportunity. I mean, I don't know what you do. You play such good offense, they score, okay, maybe the physicality is the answer. Kekos gets a goal, Bonk does cut the lead in half, and they score with more time on the clock than 7 seconds. So, well done to them. They might know what to do, but Skull have just been so creative, and they're so efficient. If you give them even the smallest glimpse of light at the end of the tunnel, they're gonna punish it.
Loser of this finals, of course, does have to play in lowers to earn their life to grands. Hold on a minute, Bonk had that opportunity to start to put the scales back in their favor, but in that lowers with that raid from NC, you can guess Brave eSports unfortunately out of the tournament. Thank you so much for the raid, though. That was via a sweep against 1-2-3, so it's going to be 1-2-3 versus ReckenRockets in that lower semi-final to prepare themselves for that mainstream against one of these two rosters. And with how this match has gone so far, I don't think either one of those teams wants to play either one of those sides. This is a stacked top four.
Yeah, I mean, it's... You look down at your future opposition, you're like, how about they both lose? I don't want to play any of them. As Bonk, look in a second. The back press from Skyrix, getting the clearance on his way towards his own net. It will not be for an extended period of time, though. As Bonk stays with it, they stay diligent and play a ball infield for Dino to punish.
These are the plays that Bonk need to be efficient on. When they get those chances, Skull eSports are so strong defensively. Those moments where they are out of position, that's when you want to get aggressive, go for these bumps, look to try and outnumber these defenses, because on the one-on-one, they are just unstoppable. Anaric de Benyele brings back that lead. It's an unbelievable individual effort from wide. Mio try as you would like, it's still not enough.
This team has done it every single which way. Individual efforts, team plays, swarming pressure. It's impressive. The matter of ways that they can score. Anaric has Skyrix pre-jumping. He's going to take it instead to the net himself, and the placement is picture perfect. Uses Skyrix as a decoy and takes that flip reset bar down for Skull eSports 4th. Are you serious?
We have not seen a team like this play in a redirect monthly on these mainstreams for quite some time contact. Oh my goodness, ceiling pinch past Annery. This time it doesn't find the back of the net, but it was a team that has you believing in these impossible plays. This is going to be 2 redirect monthlies in a row where I am left absolutely speechless by the gameplay. Last time we had Osaf playing, who might be one of the greatest players to ever play in a redirect monthly. That's an individual performance to not be beaten. And I was about to say, School eSports, with how they're playing right now, look like an invincible side. They looked a little bit beatable in that defensive formation, but ultimately not conceding quick out the gate. Infield pass still required. It's Mio off that backboard. 10 seconds left to hold, and School eSports have certainly put themselves on match point, but Bonk are still fighting to get a little bit more out of this game. This was by far the closest affair. They had got them towards an equal game for a majority of the time frame, but ultimately it was 2 goals to make the difference. Anarik and Mimilo Sama clutching up during the main stages of that game. And Skyrix has 181 points, but did he really need to do more?
I mean, yeah. That game I thought was closely played by all 6 players involved. It was 2-2. Taking down to the final moments of that game, and all of a sudden, Enrique not 1 but 2 fantastic individual goals. Like, it's you can't defend it. What do you do? He's just better in those instances. Puts the team on his back, and despite how good Bonk played, it somehow was not enough.
It somehow wasn't. And you look at players like Enrique, you can see them, like, that goal is just unbelievable. We haven't had a goal like that for quite some time, but he's called himself Enrique de Bagnolet, which I believe means Enrique of Bagnolet, which is an eastern province, an eastern commune in Paris. What is in the water over there? Like, genuinely, what is in the air that players like this are just created to be gods, demons? You can call them heroes, you can call them villains, whatever you want. They are guaranteed to be good at Rocket League. As it stands, Scald looking like they might get their entryway into the grand finals with that advantage, but Bonk with reverse sweep as their requirement will of course be looking to fight back. The games have gotten closer as they've gotten closer, as the pressure has been applied. Scald eSports looking more and more like diamonds.
The French government has to have like a secret department that creates like genealogy, like designer babies, but for Rocket League pros. Like, they just give these players all of the smallest aspects of what makes them elite at the game and then pumps them into the scene, because anytime you see a French flag, they're going to be a threat. This time around, Bonk 1-0 up to start, but we've seen this story before. They gotta hold on to it. They gotta play past the initial 45 seconds.
You want them to be good at 1s, 2s, or 3s. What are you looking for if they're going pure designer baby here? Oh my goodness. Anari somehow plays the 1v2 defense. Had a player chasing him. Goes for that initial fake jump. Uses the empty to get low. And then saves it on the second. It's intricate, but still, they do fall behind. It was Bonk that were consistently conceding the head starts towards Scald eSports. They did in the game beforehand within the first 5 seconds. So this is going to be an interesting test for Scald to see how they can fight back from behind. We've seen them with all the advantage. We've seen them with the momentum. Now it's Bonk in the driver's seat. Mio does manage to beat his first man with that 50, and I love that positioning from Dino.
Yeah, that's so well played by this duo. Mio recognizes where Dino is and just takes that 50 with posture, so that it has to die. There's nobody behind the challenger, no help coming with how wide that rotation is. If it's anywhere in front of the net, it's going to be a goal. And so Bonk with their first multi-goal lead of the series. Let's see how they handle this position.
You know, we'll look to just try and take this ball across. Mia's got quite the job on their hands here. No place for that 50-50. Skyrix is face on forward, gets that 100 boost, and immediately Bonk realized that that's going to be a point of contention. So dive in early. There was a good lead there from Dino as well. Kekos can get that touch forward. Would look for it to be a bit more control, at least some thought put in place for that second touch, because instead you've conceded to Skuld eSports. This counter-attack though is looking dangerous. Mamilo's going to have to cut in from the wing. Skyrix ended up double committing on that play as well. Again, in these little positions of chaos, Skuld eSports are so quick on the recovery. Enerig, that's a death touch in field. Skyrix shot doesn't come through. And that fight continues. Another bit of control, another bit of magic denied by Bonk.
I thought that had a chance of getting in, but Bonk, they've looked better. They've stepped up the pace. They're matching Skuld eSports, and actually, as a result, maintaining possession, which is making it difficult. 3 goals now by virtue of Kekos. The placement here actually immaculate. He fakes everybody out and goes short side with 2 defenders right there. Bonk, 3-0.
Well, you want to talk about regions that have success in the Rocket League space. Kekos, the up-and-coming Italian, has been playing really well when it has come to those RLCS Spains. You also see teams like Novo make LAN, Dangerous Esports, an Italian-based organization, start to really prop their name up as well in the European scene. It felt like this is definitely a second peak for that nation. It's, of course, always going to be a tough task to step up to the French. This team of Bonk, however, with that 1/3 on the roster, are certainly stepping up to the plate now.
Good challenge. I know, and Bonk, I mean, they haven't left the blue half. They're so content to just let this ball exist here that they're going for pinches for clearances from Skuld. This one, shell into the midfield, jam back to Enrique. Skyrix has to stare down Kekos. He's going to challenge early, and he's going to be the beneficiary of a monstrous victory. Hard off the corner, it could be an opportunity. Had that window not been collapsed on by Bonk. Possession touched by Miho. Loses it to Mamilo. Kekos double tap off the sidewall, and Skuld, while they do have a little bit of possession right now, they need goals and quick.
And they do. Oh, 1 minute and 13 seconds left to go, and how close this game has been so far. You do start to lose a little bit of faith, but I mean, that's something you never do against Skuld eSports, and Bonk definitely know that's the case. They've been making sure to play up the speed. They haven't dropped the pace whatsoever, and that's not only intelligent for the nature of this game, but this series as well. You don't want to have to start again once that 4th game comes around. You want to be able to pick off the back of that momentum, especially when you are on your final life. Deno takes this ball low. Kekos is able to pick this ball back up, and moves 2-man plays that Bonk have gone for consistently this game, Contact. Feels like it's been their recipe for success.
I think they've recognized the way Skuld's playing. Skuld is really setting up, and it's not like a standard rotation. It is it's a 2-1, like they're triangulating almost. I don't know how to describe this without drawing everybody a picture, but there's 2 people in the offensive zone and a deep set third that is there to rotate through. But every offensive attack from Skuld requires 2 people. It's not one person breaking into the zone and then the second person rotating behind them. It's both of them going up together. So if Bonk can find that initial clearance and have 2 people on the back end, they have a guaranteed 2v1 every single time, which is why we've seen goals like the 50 goal that Miho did to set up Dano. It's those instances where they are in a guaranteed 2v1 and they can use that to their advantage. Right here, they break in, they have the man advantage, and they're using that. As long as they can withstand the initial 2v1, Bonk have found the recipe. And now Skuld have to recognize what to do about it, because while you can be so dangerous breaking in 2v1, have goals from them already, whether it's passing plays, whether it's Enrique using Skyrix as a decoy, they can be. It is saved, and Bonk has that momentum that they've had the entire game. It's going to be very dangerous again.
Certainly is, and it's crazy to think that that was the most one-sided affair we've had so far, because I felt like if there was going to be a game like that, it was going to be in the favor of Skuld eSports. The way that they were just flick resetting their way across the entire team, wall dashing through, just taking these 50-50s so well. I didn't feel like Bonk were going to be a team that were able to respond. We've been proven wrong now in this 3rd game, but they still have to strike 2 more times. And if you want to break it down, just play this game and you earn yourself that best of 1. This is truly going to be one to take a game at a time, because I'm sure School eSports have got another trick up their sleeve. They always seem to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not counting his team out by any means, but I do want to give the flowers to Bonk, because they were down 2-0, backs against the wall, and they just dug deeper. They found a recipe that worked for them. They found a pace that challenged Scald, and they looked like the better team. And now they're going to have to do it time and time again, which is where things get difficult, especially against a team like Scald, who could do this. What is that takeoff from Milo?
If I was on Twitter and I saw a 2-minute 34-second video with just, you know, a song name as the title and it came from some CCH, I would expect that clip to be in it. That's what they are making this upper final look like. Just an opportunity for them to farm clips for Twitter. It is unbelievable, their consistency at these high difficulty mechanics at the highest of stages against the toughest of opponents. But they've been making it work. Bonk have consistently had to play out of book, because no one else in the world goes for these plays in these kinds of positions. And not many people, frankly, can, because if they did, they would not have that success rate.
The ability and the confidence to do it is what sets them apart. I mean, the play that defined confidence for me was last game when, I believe it was last game when Anaric went for that fake defensive double jump and caught out everybody. He's in a 2v1. He somehow plays a fake there. The confidence is just off the charts. And I don't blame you when you can do stuff like this.
They're on holiday for one game. They came back, and it's back to regular viewing. It's not as if they've been tripped up whatsoever. I called them a team that got better and better after every game. It looks like they've picked themselves up off of game 2, as if there was no game 3 in the first place. This straight up looks like a step up. Skyrix is looking to go alone this time, but Kekos in the corner already delayed here by Milo. There's that second man high up like you were calling for. You said they play with that 2-pronged attack. Skyrix is going to have to come forward from defense. That was a very high commit from School eSports. The 50 had to be perfect, and frankly, it was. Everyone's been given time to get back. Milo Sama has reduced himself with 100 boosts, and now Bonk are on the back foot.
Oh, great little soft touch, Skyrix. Oh, that's miscommunication there. Anaric, I think, had a free shot. Instead, Skyrix is toying with this when he really shouldn't be. And now this could turn into an opportunity for Bonk. Infield, just not strong enough. Kekos was deeper into the half-field line. Milo into the corner. Dano just bigger. A 0 boost 50 win as Miho will take over because he has the boost in the tank. Kekos collecting. Trying to get across to Miho. In fact, going to carry it himself. But Skyworks was waiting patiently for that save. And while Bonk are trying to get shots on, they haven't really been too creative. I say that. And Miho gets a shot on target out of a rocket.
Well, you mentioned Rockets. That's going to be who the loser will play after this series. Bonk don't want that matchup. It was ReckenRockets 2-0 versus 1-2-3 in the lowers. Bonk look to make sure now they can come back against Skull. They can force this game 5. They can get themselves that game advantage in the grand finals. Anaric brings this ball forward. That is a heavy touch coming from Mio. He makes it work out. No bumps to land. Skyrix has to take this one out of his own corner. Anaric knows not to jump on that first touch. That second one was ambitious, but he's made it work again. That's an early jump coming from Mio, but ultimately well calculated.
Mio chasing that one down. Anaric, good flip. You know, good denial there. Bonk have sort of gotten their wits about them. They're challenging earlier for Scald, and that's going to play into their working recipe. Although Anaric, every time he touches the ball, I get on the edge of my seat. I start like smiling from ear to ear because they've scored some fantastic goals already. Here we go again. They're going to collect it, jump over the top of one, sacrifice his body. Had he not gone demoed, maybe that was an opportunity at another goal. But he's done well to at least get Scald into a long-winded possession. Here we go again from the side wall. Miho will challenge at the ceiling. Kekko's on to Skyrix. This one filters back over to the corner. Miho, bounce chip. Oh, that one could have been dangerous. Enrique instead, though, will collect and have Skyrix waiting, and that challenge on to Kekko's.
I can't vote. Still looking for this one goal, and that House of Cards might just fall! Found his opportunity. Slammed this one down. Skyrix is 50. Was just completely beaten by Kekos. What a way to get it done. Well worked. 41 seconds left on the docket. And it feels like this is going to be a match point position. Kekos somehow gets it done off the kickoff, and all the hard work of Skull eSports is brought to naught.
Man, no way we get a game 5, right? No way Bonk rallies back in this manner. They've just been grimier. Out of the mud. 3-2. 35 seconds on the clock. Bonk just need to hold on. This one infield to Kekka. He's going to take it with a lot of momentum. Carry it over the top of Miho. Still stay on the ball. Had a chance against Enrique on that back wall, but Miho will filter it, from one side wall to the other. This one now retrieved on the ceiling and shuffleboarded infield by Dano. Kekka's to the back wall, and we're playing a little bit of boom ball right now. Bonk just content to waste as much time as possible, but here comes Scald. Can they get something going? It's going to be difficult when Skyrix has 0 boost. Aaron going to jump to pop it up. Mamilo still has no boost, though. Nobody has a full tank, and Bonk will force a game 5 pick.
Unbelievable. I didn't see this as a potential result. Maybe before this series started, but I was sold a dream with those first 2 games from Scored, and partly as well in this game early on. It looked like they were just going to get it done. That one game was a blip, but Bonk proved that they are more than just a one-game team. They can push the first seed down into the loser's bracket with that extra bit of effort, those intelligent over numbers as well in attack. It's all about those follow-ups, Bonnie. It's all about those follow-ups. Can they follow up heading into Champions Field?
Yeah, I mean, this is... Oh, I love this series so much. Every time I cast Rocket League like this, I'm reminded of why I love doing it. I'm having such a fun time right now. It's because these two teams are incredible. I feel bad for if I'm in the position of the ReckenRockets in the lower side of the bracket. Watching these two teams, who do you want to play? Neither. You don't want to see any of them. I don't. Like, I'm beginning to feel like watching this level of Rocket League come down my way after they're going to be frustrated and upset. Man, you better be doing finger exercises and getting hand warmers because I would be threatened. A game number 5, Champions Field, Scald eSports against Bonk. The onus really, Pig, is on Scald. Bonk have found the recipe. They've won the last 2. Scald needs to figure out a new way to play the series.
And oh, hold on a minute. An early pinch comes through, but you know, he's able to clear this one off his line. And Eric will challenge early, and Mio's got to get that one out. And I love that talk about ReckenRockets earlier. Waiting there in the lowers. They're probably looking like one Willem Dafoe gif that everyone knows of looking up in fear at these two teams in Game 5, waiting for them. And for once, Bonk are beaten at their very own game. It's a 50 on the line. It's a little bit more mechanical because, of course, it's Scald eSports. They can't help themselves with that flip reset. Mimilo catches that one on as that second man. First goal goes to their favor, but we've been guaranteed a goal in the first minute every single instant. How about a second? Not quite.
Well, eSports now in the driving seat, and each time this has happened, they have looked very good, very confident in their plays. Mimilo 0 boost, going to just go for the highest scoop imaginable, and that would have been in had Skyworks made more contact. He had a pre-flip, he had to guess where it's going to go, but only his wheels made contact to know. Well, good little pop there. Evan would be proud. Skyrix into the corner. Bumped by Kekaz. Good challenge. Mio. Unintentional centering there. It'll be retrieved not by Skyrix, instead by Deno, who has an opportunity for a flip. Gonna fake it. Now Miho has to deal with Skyrix, who has double demoed the Bonk defense. Great back check from Deno to deny that swift transition play.
Oh, Milo was looking for that redirect as well. Skyrix bumps him off. It's Dino back on that front post. Nanarik's not going to be able to get the touch. Milo uses his man bear to pinch that ball forward. Mio will send that long, and Dino will go for one himself. That is an insane clearance. Again from Skyrix, somehow pinching it off that top corner. And that should have been a goal for Bonk. The reason they call that area of the pitch a corridor of uncertainty. Complete chaos right in front of their lines. And I thought that was going to be those 2v1 positions that Bonk was looking for. Skuld get it out. It's a snipe from across the pitch. Way too confident there from Kekos. I would never be taking that risk.
I don't know if his teammates calmed that it was off or what, but the fact that he didn't even move, didn't flinch in a worry that was going to go in, he's a stronger man than I. If it did go in, he would look incredibly goofy, though. Luckily, that was not his fortune, as all three members of Scald are just turtling in the net right now. They don't want to concede. They don't want an equal scoreline. They don't care about a defensive rotation. What a dunk! Is that going to go in? It will. And that's not the first time Scald have done that, Pig.
Certainly not, but it's also not the first time they've had a lead like this and watched it start to slip away. And off that line, Bonk felt like they had all the attack in the world. It felt like that goal was essentially guaranteed if you gave it a few extra seconds. But Skuld eSports, you spoke about them turtling up on their own lines. They weren't playing panicky. It was still one player going at a time. They were not using boosts unless they were forced to. So they still had the resources capable to extend that defense for as long as it needed to be before they could have that space to push into that offensive half. And it's a bit like early Skuld eSports in that first game. They might not have all the pressure in the world, but once they find that opportunity to strike, they'll certainly make the most of it.
Mio, was that ball so overhead and he just can't react? Nobody can on Bonk. That challenge by Deno, I mean, Enrique just comes in with so much momentum. Plays that over the top of Miho, and there's not a whole lot you can do defensively. 3-0 goes Scald eSports, and Bonk. Things were already pretty dire. Now they're even worse. They try to get cute on the kickoff, go for a fake, and Scald read it really well.
They certainly do. Mio takes this ball over Tuvo, looking to try and be that one-man army inside. Now looking for reinforcements, but Mimilo just reaches that first. The crisp 2 touches, a lovely tap forward. Anarik will try and take charge, but Skyrix instead was forced to try and dislodge an opponent. Mio stays on. 100 boost picked up. 3 goals required in the final minute. Might make it 4 if Skald eSports have anything to say about it. And now this is great running down of the clock. But how about an extension on the score sheet? Skyrix doesn't find the target. Bonk is able to double up in their defense. Now they need to triple up in offense.
Milo, I mean, Scald eSports are just playing the stalled time game. Every time they touch this ball, they're trying to throw it into nothing but open space. That's a bold back pass from Enrique. Collected, though, by his teammate Milo, and him and Skyrix are just freestyling at this point. That's how confident they feel. Backflip shot from Enrique had way more power than I thought would have been possible. Good pop-up by Deno, and he blocks his own teammate's shot. Oh, what a save off the own crossbar, too. Unfortunately, that's going to sum up this series. Bonk will get 1, and there's still time on the clock, but when they've needed it most, Bonk just haven't had the chips fall their way.
This is going to be one of those series that you just sit back and laugh at certain moments that just happen to not fall your way. Skald eSports pull out a miracle. Sometimes it was the post and crossbar denying, but for the most part, it just felt like they were outplayed by Skald in all areas of the pitch. Rodino can pick up one. Hold on a minute. Redirect history could be made here. 2 seconds left. That's enough. We've seen it in South America. This technically could be considered an own assist here. And oh my goodness, history has been made because Dino said, be careful in chat. Looking to absorb the power of K-Dot. They've gone for the team pin for the kickoff. That's stalled.
No.
Deny it. That stays on the ground. Unfortunately, they will go to the lower bracket to play the ReckenRockets.
Man, it's... The bot kickoff would not have been my kickoff of choice there, but they felt confident in it. What I will say here, Pig, I would be surprised. I would bet like 80% of my net worth, which is like 80 cents, that we're going to get a rematch in the grand finals between these two teams. With how that series went,
in 80 cents. I'm just saying we've got bits here on the channel. If you want to bet 80 cents worth of bits that this grand final is going to feature Bonk in it, by all means make that the case. Are you going to throw that one out here for the broadcast?
Sure. I'll put it out there. Hazel will get 80 cents in bits if we don't get a rematch in the grand final.
I believe he actually gets 40 cents, unfortunately, with the affiliate splits.
Do they take half?
Yeah, they do take half.
I thought
not from bits.
I thought it was only subs. I thought bits were the whole thing.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. Bits are in fact 1-to-1. I'm not aware of that. Damn, I might have to push for more of those. But anyways, heading into lowers, you've got Bonk that, despite coming off the back of the loss, I would argue are actually a team in form. They played pretty well in the later stages of that series. They had one that felt like a little bit of a blip where they had a rough time and Scored eSports completely dominated them. I believe that was game 2. But for the rest of that competition, it certainly was a contest. We've had these upper finals before where the first seed has come in and they've made it not even close. It has been completely dominant and it's been a pretty easy to predict redirect monthly. But now with that grand final ready to be played, Scored eSports with that game advantage and Bonk versus ReckenRockets deciding who those potential opponents could be, this could be a really, really tough competition, especially if ReckenRockets can shock us and beat Bonk. That would be a case of just being the better team out there. I do not believe if Bonk lose, it's going to come off their own accord.
No, I will tend to agree with you there. I will say, as we'll take a look at the rosters here, we just saw Bonk. ReckenRockets, though, will be taking the pitch with Pinroy Green and Zedo. And I do think, I mean, they've had a couple of DQs come their way, but they've earned their spot here with the victory that they just had over the top of 1, 2, 3. And we'll see how this matchup goes against Bonk. If Bonk keep 90%, 80% of the form they just had, I think they will win. So this is ReckenRockets' own accord to step up to the plate and play a game that they're confident in, because I know I would want... You got to shake up Bonk somehow. You have to have them play a slower paced game that isn't as just all out, everything on the table as it just was. You have to get them off of what the routine was for the last 25 minutes of Rocket League.
ReckenRockets have pulled off some excellent feats so far in this specific Redirect Monthly. Sure, some DQs have been on their journey, but they also beat the likes of Table Tennis Goats, a team that I didn't even expect to be so early into the losers bracket. That was a team of Finzi, Nagflow, and Alex. That's top competition that by all means could have been on the mainstream should it have been a different performance today. They also had Renshiro and Jaku waiting on the backlines as substitutes. So ReckenRockets taking that game for 1 is pretty impressive. 1, 2, 3 as well. I believe we're our 3rd seeded team in the entire tournament. And this was a bit of a fight to see which majority German team could represent themselves on main, with Neon, Rias, and Cloudy making up that roster. So we could be surprised. We could be surprised here. We certainly could be, especially with ReckenRockets, of course, being one of the arms and legs of Dr. Buman, which is one of the greatest CRL teams of all time. Yes, not a North American roster, but as we just found out, Quanzek, EU somehow still owns CRL. You know what? What's that about?
We're really doing this? We're really doing this?
You must have known. When you saw that result come through, you were like, this is going to be a rough redirect monthly. Should I be available again?
St. Clair they're a really quality roster. That team's played together for like 2 seasons now in CRL. They've always contended for the top 4. I expect it to change and go back and forth. I mean, CRL is arguably the most competitive form of Rocket League right now, just with the amount of teams that can compete for the top. Why are you shaking your head?
Second most competitive RLCS
Behind what?
out there. Behind the redirect monthlies, of course. And just like the redirect monthlies, a European team is always guaranteed to win.
The Haza Glaze is crazy, dude. I know you two have some sort of... Don't tell Katie, man. I mean, that's dangerous.
No. There's no bromance going on with me and Hazard. We keep it professional here at Redirect, okay? He is my employer and my co-man as well on RDR Prod, who, by the way, I actually did want to mention that during this stream at some point. And whilst we wait for this second lobby to get itself ready, I will get this mentioned. RDR Prod, of course, that's going to be, well, I mentioned about arm and legs of Dr. Newman. That's going to be an arm or leg of Redirect DG as well. Did have their first successful open working 4 rounds. So be sure to check that out. And if you are a part of any organization that wants to be in touch, all of our DMs are certainly open. But a little bit of taste of our production is to be shown here in the lower final. It's Bonk versus ReckenRockets to earn their spot in the grand finals versus Skull. It would be a rematch for Bonk if they were able to step up to the plate. And, well, all those at home are saying the betters as well are pointing towards the favor of Bonk.
Do not tell ReckenRockets that Bonk just played lights out in the upper part of the series. I mean, this is going to be dangerous for either one of these teams. Let's see if ReckenRockets can get their foothold early. If they can pull momentum into their favor, it's going to be super impactful. They've looked good to start here. Dino goes back towards the net, shuffling along. As man, this pace of play does look very similar to what we just saw, but Bonk just too strong here in the corner. The clearance can't come out from ReckenRockets via a miss, unforced mechanical error, and you can't really do that at this level, especially with what we just witnessed on the pitch.
Certainly. They've had some time, though, away from the sticks. This was quite a quick transition from the upper finals to the lower finals, but that's usually what the players do prefer. ReckenRockets, though, had to wait a couple of minutes while Bonk were playing with the highest level Rocket League kind of redirect monthlies have had to offer in quite some time. Zedo takes this ball high. Pindroy is going to be looking for that double tap, but that's a confident first touch from Mio to keep this ball close. Dino's going to be waiting on that opposite side. Should that 50 land in his favor? It does. 2 bounces down. Green still to beat. This is going to fall straight back to ReckenRockets. Still need to grab a goal back.
It goes towards the ceiling. That's a monstrous 50 win. Mio fakes out the defense from Zedo and just goes low. Low rider. I mean, look, the drop down from Mio is just well placed. Zedo has to somehow try to cover as much of it as possible while driving into it. And Mio just plays it slowly so that it's behind his car and he can't react to it. It's a good heads up Rocket League, and Bonk 2-0. They look very in form right now.
They certainly do. And this is a team that are able to get themselves off to quick starts. They did so as well in the upper bracket. The difference was they were playing schooled eSports and they just were able to keep up with that pace. Same not be said so far about the ReckenRockets. It was an opportunity to make me bite my tongue, but save comes out, push towards that crossbar. That demo is certainly going to open up some space as well for the defense. Try and make their way out. Deno somehow wins the battle for the side boost. Able to keep possession for the team as well. It's laid off to Kekos. Dino's still available. Doesn't go for the shot. Plays for the pass instead. It's high percentage, but it's high placed as well. All 3 players commit. And that's feeling the higher risk part of high risk, high reward.
Yeah, you are correct about that one. Bonk just send the house and they don't get any payment. I think when you've shown yourself that you played like the better team through 2.5 minutes of Rocket League, I think they've outpaced ReckenRockets. There's no need to get that greedy for a third goal. I'd much rather that team play more patient, let ReckenRockets come to them and earn a goal rather than handing one over because you couldn't get one yourself. But Bonk will live and learn as they only now hold a 1-goal lead. Good save there by Pindroy. It goes over the sidewall and Dino and cover the net. That's great timing on that flip and challenge as this one nubbed along by Zedo. He's going to go ahead and gallop at this ball, get a flip reset and carry it all the way through, and Zedo makes up for his mechanical error before with brilliant individual effort here on this play to equalize our scoreline at 2 apiece.
That is a game-changing opportunity. You need to find your footing. You need to grab these moments when they present themselves. You want any chance on taking down these opponents. Now, this game is completely flipped on its head. You start to have a little bit more faith in this majority German roster. Kekos wants to take it off the corner. Stop though here by Green. Deno will take this ball high. No one's up to challenge him initially. 2 up off that backboard. Who's defending the backboard? Zedo able to recover, but the ball falls back to Mio. Zedo once more dives into the action.
Right into the corner. Mio, good heads up. He can't bump down Green. Had he been able to, that could have been dangerous. Bonk still searching for it, though. Off the back wall goes Mio. Zedo, collection. He's going to go ahead and roll this one in field, grab both corner boosts, and still be involved in this play. That 50 completely kills all momentum from ball and players alike. It goes on to Zedo. He's looked really good ever since that opening minute of this game. I'm constantly calling his name. He's the driving force for this ReckenRockets team currently. Here he goes again. From the sidewall, infield over to Green. A little bit too heavy of initial touch, and Green was expecting something softer. Both him and Penroy have to double commit defensively. Miho towards the net. Zedo finds the clearance, but ReckenRockets on their heels until this clearance. Back towards the net they go.
Well, Zedo is going to be that star man on the roster. He's the one with that collegiate history behind him. And that's your player that you need to lead to take the charge. Show everyone else how it is done. Dino, though, part of a balanced roster, off the ceiling, off the back wall, finds the target, and it will just act as an assist. What a way to steal the game.
Well, steal, you might have said a little bit too soon. 18 seconds on the clock, and ReckenRockets have looked pretty good in this game 1. They found their footing. They're getting some quality defensive saves. What do they have? Oh, it's going to be a set piece from the kickoff. Let's go straight in. No heavy lifting at all, Pig. They're just going to score from a designed play and make it 3-all. Steal who?
Hands up. That's on me. That's on me. That's what we call a Casa curse. 3-3, 15 seconds. Who's to say they won't score again off the kickoff? That looks favourable for the ReckenRockets. It still is. Green is behind the ball. Regulation looks to come to an end, but Dino on the counter is just in a 1v1. Pinjoy waits low. There's boost of attack, but he's taken his time. So the second and third have been able to wrap themselves back behind. Pinjoy still wants to keep it up. Bonk are of those same volition as well. Kekos has a teammate inside. Dino just able to catch. A redirect is required. Mio is inside, but Pinjoy gets there first. And will they let it drop on this occasion? No. Rule 0, Rule 1. It depends what generation you are from. That lives on just before 2026. Pinjoy can't get on the end of it, and overtime begins. Goal 7 will be golden.
Well, how this game started between Bonk and ReckenRockets, I think both of us wouldn't have bet that we'd be in OT in game 1. But ReckenRockets have played their way into here, and they've looked decent doing it. Green with the challenge. Pinroy gonna watch that one go over his head. Zedo. That's going to be a high lofting chip that he'll actually catch back up to, but the follow-up isn't there. Now Green on a little bit of an island temporarily. Good challenge there. Can he get a second one? Mio plays it slow with a little bit of mind games. Green can't pre-flip into that. Kekos across the middle of the pitch, and Now this one's just going to be ladled up by Dano. That one, oh my, both sides really can't get a good grasp on this ball. They're fumbling with it when I don't think they should be. Pinroy,
Oh?
how has that worked? How is that how this game ends? Are you kidding me? That's not like a, oh my gosh, what I just witnessed. Are you kidding me? That's a, I'm disappointed. Was that a bump? Is that how that ended?
Yes, it was indeed.
Oh,
Zedo was heads up, quick thinking. It was definitely a blink and you'll miss it kind of play. It just all fell apart with that one car connection. So fair play to him for finding that opportunity. And that's the ReckenRockets taking the first game. And now I feel like all predictions are thrown out the window. And your bank account, that crisp 80 cents, looks like it might be running away from you.
Yeah, ReckenRockets proved all of us wrong. They went down 2-0 so quickly, and in my head, I was thinking this is gonna be a bloodbath, but instead, it is going to be Bonk just conceding late, and ReckenRockets have looked like the better team. Once we got underneath 3 minutes, I felt like they outplayed Bonk. And I never thought that would have been the case of how good that upper final was.
Maybe we should have seen it coming with some of the results that ReckenRockets were able to pick up. I feel like those DQs somewhat threw us off course there because you've got more faith in the teams that have played all their games, especially because ReckenRockets, they were in the lowers actually pretty early in the tournament. I do actually want to have a look at why that was the case, because now that we've been able to see them play ahead of us, this is an unbelievable side. It was actually a game 3 loss in the winners semi-final to 1-2-3. So they have already been able to fight back their rematch against that roster in the losers semi-final. So this very much was a team that could have gone all the way to those upper finals a little bit earlier, assuming some of those goals went differently. So perhaps we do have one of the most defined top 4s of Redirect Monthly has ever had, one that could have truly gone in any order.
I think you're correct about that. I mean, you flipped 4 different coins. You could get 4 different results for how these teams have been performing. I think we definitely could have seen 1, 2, 3 here. We definitely can see ReckenRockets beat Bonk. We can see somebody upset in our grand final as well. Right now, it's all about Bonk seeing what they have to bring the series back to even. Miho can't catch back up to it. In fact, he's used a lot of boost there. If Kekos was not able to find that touch, it could have been dangerous on the back end. Good challenge onto green. Zedo will collect and jump off the sidewall. Has he gone a flip here? He has. That recovery going to be useful using that for the wave dash. Everybody combines here for this ball to get nowhere, and there you go, Pig. This is what you always clamor for. Your Tier 1 or the EU Rocket League gameplay of nobody advancing over the course of a minute and 15 seconds.
Absolutely. We like to see a little bit of mid-game fought for, but when Mio takes that space forward, that's the efficiency of the Europeans. German efficiency on the side of Bonk. Looking to take down his nationman in the lower finals to get that rematch once more. We've seen Germans be able to take the course of a Redirect Monthly multiple times before. Shout out to one of the GOATs of the Redirect Monthly, Dreamy, a multi-time champion. Not present this time, but still, you can see his essence living on with these players.
You know, trying to work on the Zedo here. They've been so good, ReckenRockets have, fighting those last second clearances, and that's all been on the ground, however. The second Bonk went to the air for that effort, it instantly went in. Will they double dip? They will! Yes!
Ooh.
It stayed on the goal line for a while. I thought maybe there was a chance that one was going to get saved, but Bonk, I think they figured out solo mechanical plays from the sidewalls that take you into the air seem to be pretty lethal against ReckenRockets.
That was a shot that had us all guessing for a second there whether that would find the back of the net. Zedo vote. Wrong 50-50. These kickoffs have gone in their favor before. It was the main difference made by them in the last game to pick this one back. Green's 50'd off. Mio bails away. Kekos is demoed off, however. Dino has to On the recovery on the underlap, Mio is going to struggle for that second touch. There was a lot of power behind that ball. That's a flip reset picked up. Going to have to use it for a recovery instead of a shot. In this instance, ReckenRockets have done well to hold their own lines. It's a booming ball forward. This should be competent from Mio. Pindro is waiting outside, but was aware that he was going to be of no threat, despite how that possession could have looked a little bit different if he had any boost left of his tank. Zedo forward once more. Kekos is going to have to play this one dangerously to his own corner.
Great pinch pass over to Mio. Had he gone that one on frame, it would have gone in. Might have been a world record for the quickest transition play possible. That one would have gone the length of the pitch in about 2 seconds. You know, over to Miho. Miho back to Dino. That will not go. Oh no, oh no.
What?
That one won't though. It's still off the bar. And that's been in this first, how many times has ReckenRockets just toyed with that ball on their goal line? They're doing it again with the epic save from Pinroy. They have been so stuck in their own half, and they found some miraculous saves, but they're down 2-0, Ping.
ReckenRockets are patient to a level that feels inhuman at times when they have all this pressure against them. Sometimes just parking their cars on the goal line, waiting for Bonk to throw their powerful shots out first, and then trusting their reaction times that they can get those clearances out. Pintroy might have an opening. He did. But a crossbar will deny him once more. Dino surely bumped off this play. That's not going to be the touch they wanted, though. Coming off the ceiling. Controlled well by Zedo. And there's that contest in the midfield third. Mio's going to get that ball out here to Pintroy. It's back across the green, off that back wall once more. Zedo's going to have to cut inside. It's chaos on the goal line. Kekos ends up bumping his own teammate, but that actually gears him into the action. It's a pre-jump, though, coming from Dino. He might not be required. Mio goes all the way.
Did he find another touch here? Oh my god. That is so gross. Mio, I need a shower. What? What?
Shot of the day. Shot of the day. Well, we've had options, by the way. We have had so many options, especially from that upper final, to call for the goal of the monthly. But for me, that definitely takes the cake. That is a crazy effort from Mio. It's a goal back here from ReckenRockets, and well, we've seen them be able to come back from deficits beforehand, and I would be foolish to vote against them in this instance, as I did before. Nah, absolutely not. 23 seconds, Bonk. Make sure you keep your head screwed on. You don't want to fall victims yet again.
Touch up from Green to himself. Can't get possession of that follow-up, so we'll go ahead and skip to the other side of the pitch where Dano full tank of boost all the time in the world. The amount of time he's burned here, he's going to go ahead and secure the victory for Bonk. They probably should have had the first one, but ReckenRockets had a little bit of nuance up their sleeves, some trickery. And this time, Bonk will rightfully get their game, and Miho is the reason why. Not only does he have our goal of the day, he has a hat trick to go alongside it, and a two-way player collecting that savior medal as well. Miho doesn't want this team to drop in third. He wants a guaranteed chunk of the pool and that rematch in the grand finals. Well played to Bonk overhaul, as man, that shot was just so good. Here we go again.
Oh my goodness. You don't think he can go all the way, but the goal explosion says yes right afterwards. That is a crazy strike from Mio. Of course, there is that a little bit of a follow-up there from ReckenRockets to pick up that last goal. But if I was to compare this Bonk team to anything, I know they use that sheep as their logo. I feel like they're closer to a grizzly bear, and if you dare poke the stick out them, they will bite your head off in the remainder of the series. They did it in the upper finals. They just about couldn't go all the way. That has certainly been the case here in lowers, because Bonk in game 2 is a different beast to what we saw in the first.
And they have stepped up to the plate. Yeah, they've looked so good at certain times, Pig, and the defense just crumbles in really odd sequences, which has enabled their opponents to get into the game. I mean, there were certain times on the top side of the bracket where it wasn't necessarily them crumbling, but more so just Skull eSports being so talented in the place that they were finding. But Bonk look like they can compete with anybody if they don't allow things like this to happen. Nobody touches this ball. And Zedo, just a fantastic double with so much pace behind.
Wow. You got to give them the benefit of a doubt there, though. That's an excellent 50 from Green. Bonk tried to say with like, it was just that the boost counts were a bit too low. No one was available to cover that backboard. There was just one man sitting down low. That's going to be one of those outnumberings that we were talking about before. Once that first man was eliminated, you see the player with the more resources in the tank, and you just have to back them, especially if it's Zedo with complete pace behind him, and as well that space on the backboard. He is, like we said, going to be the main force on this ReckenRockets side, and that has proven itself time and time and time again in this losers final. Green looking to play this ball down. It's going to be Pinjoy as that second. Going to have to bail away. Kekos will take it alone. Dino has Mio waiting behind, and Mio is not a player you want to see high on boost with a little bit of space in front of him. Takes it off that back wall. Kekos ends up getting bumped by his own teammate, and now Dino's outnumbered, but still manages to get that job done.
Miho booming ball that's actually retrieved by Dino. How has that worked?
Whoa.
I thought Miho gave possession over to the other team. But Pindroy just lays it up for Dino. He gets nowhere near the power necessary to play that over the sidewall for his teammate. Goes straight into Dino and then straight into his own net.
That's one I definitely want to see again on the replays a little bit later on, because I don't really know what Green is doing in that position. He had essentially 80 boost left in the tank, and he ran off the corner whilst his teammate is now left in that 1v1 position. Sure, you believe it's going to be in your teammate's favor, but why would you play the risk?
I've noticed a lot from my coaching days, Pig, is that's a fabulous shot from Pinroy.
That is.
Capitalizes on the opportunity uncontested and just picks his placement. It's right underneath the bar, right out of the reach of any defender. Well done. I've noticed in my coaching days that there's players who, you know, Rocket League is a game of split-second decisions. If you think at all, you're just going to get scored on. And as a result, there are numerous players who everybody memorizes where the full boosts are on the pitch. They have ball cam on, they're looking at the ball, and their hands are instinctively flipping towards the full boost, even when they don't need it, because everybody loves a full tank of boost. But you have to break that muscle memory, that subconscious action that you're doing, because you have instances just like that. Green has 80 boost, as this one has somehow gone in for Bonk. What happened defensively for ReckenRockets?
This has been definitely the most chaotic game of the day for wrong reasons. That is a bad 50-50 attempt. It's simply all Dino's there to take that ball low. And you should be expecting that again in those kinds of positions. That's just the way the game is played nowadays. You go for these low 50s in those types of positions, especially if you know that he's got teammates right behind him ready to pick that ball up. I think Dino's probably as surprised as us that he's found the back of the net.
And Pinroy missed that shot as well before that 50 even was challenged. Pinroy missed it along the side wall, which I think made his teammate panic sooner rather than later and take that low 50 that Dino just passed through without a care in the world.
Feels like one of those games that should have been ReckenRocket. They earned more of their goals themselves instead of these enforced errors that have come out the side of their own defenses, but instead this does remain a close game. Time has been given for Bonk to themselves back in the natural swing of the game. And I do want to point out, I was a psycho attempt there. I appreciate the ambition. That's a wonderful save as well coming from Dino. It's not going to be credited due to the distance away from net. But had he have not found that touch, I was guaranteed ReckenRockets take the lead.
Green, look reset with 0 boost in the tank. He's actually almost done it. Had Dino not been there to find the save. Actually, Dino pulled himself out of position, greeting for that middle boost. If ReckenRockets can grab possession of this ball, going to do them well. Instead, to know with the double mind game, fake threading the needle between two of them. And this whole game has just felt odd, Pig. It's like the vibes are different. My casting feels weird now as a result. And it feels like neither team really deserves this victory here. But for the time being, ReckenRockets are going to take the lead.
It's been the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's a high commit from all three players of Bonk, but I felt like they had that play behind. ReckenRockets, though, again, create that difference with that bit of physicality on the end of a play to open up some space. It's how they won game one. It's how they look to try and close out this third. But in these final 60 seconds, different force starts to unleash for both these sides. It does feel like something changes in the air on Forbidden Temple. Keckles will take this ball up first. Off that corner, slams it down and beats his second man. But those first out have been beaten, now become third, ready to recover themselves. Bonk essentially have to play 4 plays at once. Zedo jumps up early, and I felt like a low play was going to be the better option for Dino. He proves me wrong with that high play instead. Mio's going to come in here from the corner. It's a 2v3 with that demo from Zedo, but Pindroy with that 100 boost finds Zedo again. Inside pass! And it's a 2-goal difference to hold on to. Potentially land this team on match point. But we have seen stranger forces out of this series and certainly this game.
We have. I feel like this one's going to be tougher to overcome, but I'd love to be proven wrong by Bonk. Green wins the kickoff. Zedo just going to slow it down. He knows he's at a boost disadvantage. Mio does end up winning the ball regardless as he drives that one towards the net. Can't find a bump. Pindroy over one. Dino trying to keep pressure on, but with that clearance, that surely will seal the deal for this game 3. It will. There's not enough time on the clock now, and ReckenRockets really steal one as Pindroy won't get a goal for the road. I don't know. It's both teams just felt out of sorts, and you know what I'm going to do, Pig? I'm going to blame Hazza. It's because we got Forbidden Temple 2 games in a row.
Hey, it's my favorite map. I'm happy to have it twice in a row, personally. I don't mind
but they
on
were
the screen
expecting
here.
a different map in the rotation. So when you're like, oh yeah, we're going to be playing on this map now, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the only superstitious reason I could give as to why that game just felt off.
Yeah, it was out of sorts from both sides, but I will say that if it was won by ReckenRockets, I would say it was won by ReckenRockets. If Bonk had taken that win, it would have been lost by ReckenRockets.
Yeah.
It felt like those goals that did go in the favor of Bonk were ReckenRockets' complete capitulation on their own lines. It felt like Bonk somewhat played down to their level. They played into the chaos there when they had an opportunity to really take control and take that game away in their own stride. Instead, we are looking at a game 4 where ReckenRockets do have that. I do just want to say as well, I know we've been very negative, that deserved match point position that they found themselves. And now all those questions have to land to Bonk because they have been playing up to their opponents here when this feels like a team that play their best when they take control themselves. They can play high-footed, they can keep these passes stringing along, they can play aggressive, they can play risky, and that all seemed like it went amiss. But one thing they really need to get together are these kickoffs. It's another for the Rockets.
They have... There's got probably at least 33% of the goals here from ReckenRockets have been off of these kickoff sets. And Bonk need an answer. They need to do something about it. Because when you're starting at a deficit, or ReckenRockets know they can quickly get one back, and things go from bad to worse with plays exactly like this, it's another kickoff that's intentionally lost over to Pindroy, and he just carries it into the net. Bonk now down 2-0 in their elimination game, Pig. I would have never thought this was happening.
Certainly not, and Mio's just caught at a worst timing when he's on his lines. He wants to jump early so that he's early enough that that air dribble bump isn't going to land on him. He times that just wrong, because if it was any later, that was going to happen regardless. There's a miss off the ball. It's going to be called a fake, I'm sure, by the offensive player. And all of a sudden, that lead is halved. I don't think Pindroy had what it took in the tanks regardless to get that save.
Okay, well, the lead's cut in half, and our strangeness of games continues. And Roy collecting. He's already been dangerous with space. This time doesn't have the boost, however. Miho. And carry it forward and drop it down. Green will steer it aside. Find a really quality bump there on the back end. Kickoff's actually still able to stay with this ball, though, which means Dino to the back wall looking for help. Miho doesn't get the ball. He instead gets a demo. Penroy pop up. Zeto for the net. Can't make contact. Tried to delay his touch as long as possible and end up missing it entirely. So both sides trying to get creative with the looks that they're having, but nobody able to find that fourth goal on the field. And I think that's going to be a demo that Penroy wishes he had back, because I would have been upset that they didn't get demoed. Instead, I got demoed.
One of those robberies, those 50-50 positions, and it's those small differences that can completely change the game and as well the series. It's a great save off the corner there by Green. Bonk still looking for one extra. 90 seconds to pass, 3:30 still to go. I feel like that this game's still got a lot more to show for us here. Pintroy just able to get that beat off Kekos. Green gets 2 players to skip past himself. Has 0 boost left in the tank, however. Wants to play for that corner. It's not available for him to pick up in the first place. And now you can see on the right hand of your screen, ReckenRockets low in resources overall, but his slow building attack has allowed themselves to regroup. That first save comes out. Pintroy gets his second chance on the tag, but Dino will 50 that one out wide.
Green, lots of space here. What can you do with it? Miho, even better challenge. He's been so good from the ceiling anytime he's been tasked defensively. Here he is again, popping up to himself. Gonna opt to take it along the route of the ceiling. Green can't make contact. He's actually still lofting there to find a touch and beats all 3 players with a single contact of the ball. Ever since our opening flurry of goals, it's been very slow since. Kekos pop up to Dino. Double tap and coming off the back ball. Had the defense from Zeto not been there. Drop down, was looking for his recipient and his teammate that got demoed, but instead Green will be the lone man to push it off the pitch and actually get a temporary shot on. Kekos was ready for that bounce.
And again, so much of that defense was left disjointed by the physical plays of ReckenRockets, of opportunities where recovery flips were required from the Bonk offense to just keep themselves involved with the play. And it feels like at times they do need at least 2 of them to get these shots across ReckenRockets to see that there are no mistakes made. Here's the second man in this instance. You've got to be finding the target there. Instead, it comes out wide, and now the danger is all against them. ReckenRockets make it free. It's Zeto to add himself once more to the score sheet.
Yeah, double dipped evil there on that shot miss. It doesn't hit the target, so your first genuine opportunity in minutes goes wide. And you hit it with so much pace that it comes off the back wall and basically clears itself for ReckenRockets to find that transition play. Bonk, though, gonna make sure they don't have that sour taste in their mouth for long, instantly finding it back off the kickoff.
Well, one thing cannot be disproven about this series, and that is that there is so much importance put towards the set-piece kickoff. We'll pay close attention to this one. That falls out wide to Kekos. Has to cut in from his own wings defensively. Off the ceiling, looking for a Zen Classic instead. It's going to be Miyu. Try and keep play moving on the corner. Dino will attack out straight. And I feel like there's been many instances here, especially in that back right corner for ReckenRockets, that it's just been 50 by 50 against Bonk. They've been doing well to run down this clock. Still have 70 seconds left to burn, but an extra goal would be what I'd be looking for in this scenario of gameplay, especially some of those opportunities they've gotten away with. That's another sidewall off the back wall. Mio will have to take it off the wing himself. Kekos will look to go on to the overlap. Bumped off by Zeto once more. I spoke about those physical plays defensively being of the advantage of ReckenRockets once more. That proves itself to be the case. Will we find the target this time? We do. Kekos neutralizes the score.
That placement is so elite from Kekos. Knowing the bottom or the top right of the net is defended and you have Penroy rotating in from the far side. places it low between the both of them. Neither one can reach it. That'll be it tied up, and they're gonna take the lead instantly, doing their best ReckenRockets impression with the kickoff piece that goes into a goal. Bonk now with their first advantage in this game 4.
Potential to be game 5 bound again this redirect monthly. ReckenRockets look to prevent it. They've had some games themselves go the full distance earlier in the bracket. Varying levels of success. Bonk will certainly be their largest challenge. Kekos brings this ball out wide. Mino can't get back catch. Dino wants to keep that ball close. Instead, that falls off heavy to Pindroy. 18 seconds. Lots of emphasis on this attack, but it's another bump in the late stages of the game. ReckenRockets never to be denied.
That is so well done by Pindroy. He has 0 boost the entire time. Delays that pop, hits it with the deepest part of that Fennec hitbox, and rebounds with enough momentum to recover and find a bump to make sure things are equalized. Had that not go in, I think ReckenRockets would have been staring into game 5, but they've allowed themselves to not get there. Here's Zeto driving towards the corner. Are they going to try to get it in regulation time? It's going to drop down. We have OT. Bonk, if they win, they force champions. Field ReckenRockets, if they win, they're played into the grand finals.
Green 50'd off initially. Dino looks to try and get that instant impact in OT. We've been in this position before. These two teams really have not had much to separate them with, and that was a surprise in the run of show. When these two faced, we thought that it would be a little bit more one-sided to the blue-sided team's favor. Mio puts that ball up high. Enjoy across. Echoes bells away, and they're just looking to slow down the play, make sure that they regroup themselves positionally, but that positioning can be thrown off by those bumps. More were attempted, but the back of the net not found in this instance.
No. High, lofting, mid-air pop. Green drop down. Pindroy saying it off the ceiling, and now here comes Zeto. Demoed. Had that not happened, he would have had lots of time to find a shot, so good heads-up defense by Bonk there. Zeto, 150, parlayed into a second. And this ball, nobody has found a possession touch yet. Here it comes from Kekos. He gets a piece of it. Green instantly jumping. Has a double off the corner. Accidentally turns that into a triple. And now it's sent with a rifling pinch back towards the net. That's not the touch you want if you're a ReckenRockets fan. But luckily, the rotation comes through from Green.
Back into the corner. Dino needs to try and pick up some space. It's a dangerous position, especially if ReckenRockets can play high. Forced now to deep with that heavy ball over. Green has space. Needs to get tricky. Flicks it over one. This will now come to Pindroy off that ceiling. You spoke about that ceiling being so impactful for both of these rosters. That hit off the back wall certainly will be. And the target is not found by Green. He times it all wrong. That should have been game, set, and match. The ticket stands for the grand finals. Instead, it's going to be a defense here against Bonk.
And you have to feel that's a moment that if Bonk win this game, they're going to think back to Miho. Can't get in himself. Bonk have been gifted the opportunity to stay in this series. Pindroy towards the net. Miho just going to play it off his back wall and be ready for the backboard defense. He'll be there just in time for that touch as this one shimmies its way out into the midfield. That's a 150 by Zeto that head towards the net. Miho had to stop on a dime in order to get back in time. You know? Driving it forward. Green just goes into the corner. ReckenRockets have had possession, but Bonk have not been threatened by it yet.
Back on here to Zeto. Nice low tap out towards that top corner of the pitch. Dino wants to find some space forward, but Mio instead is going to be the play with that bit of space. But heavy first touches and that corner boost pickup is going to slow themselves down, but ultimately not ruin the offense on the spot. That certainly will. Now it's all conceded to ReckenRockets. There's been a double up as well at that corner. Ultimately, Bonk have the resources in the tank to escape with their lives, but Pindroy Still has possession of the ball. Drops down. Second man available. How about the third? That was a really high press. This is going to be alarm bells ringing. Pinjoy has got his work cut out for them. But with the assistance of Green, that counter-attack doesn't bear fruit.
50 straight back to Dino. Ekos will collect. He has a lot of boost. Nobody's in immediate position to challenge. He's going to go ahead and find that pass. That's a good backflip. Had he hit it a normal way, they would have been ready for the pass, but nobody was able to recover in time to cover the net for the shot from Dino, and so Bonk will indeed force a game 5 after 3 minutes and 40 seconds of overtime.
They tried their luck on a few occasions, though, in that OT. ReckenRockets clearing these balls out to the center. There's been a Bonk player available on numerous occasions. That's a matchup that could have ended earlier, but that could have been in the favor of both sides. You think back to just a minute and a half ago when ReckenRockets had that shot outside the 6-yarder, had all the time and space in the world, and still that ball was just wide of the mark. 9 goals scored in the 4th match of the lower finals. We will see another Quan go the distance.
Yeah, I mean, they're making us earn our day here, Pig. 2 consecutive game 5s, and it's really in the most unlikely of manners. I mean, yeah. I would have never thought this one was headed to a game 5 with the way that game 1 started, and then ReckenRockets bounced back, and then as weird as this game 3 and 4 have been, somehow we're in a position where we're seeing a game 5, and honestly, I don't know who's winning. Neither team has felt like far and away the better team. We've just been lolling our way through Rocket League games, and balls happen to go into nets when they do.
We believe that this was going to be a predictable series, and we've been proven very quickly that that is not the case whatsoever. You got to keep your eyes peeled for Champions Field. It's going to be the final matchup between these two sides. Still waiting in the grand finals is going to be Scald eSports. And you've heard of Zedo, Pinjoy, and Green. Going to be 2 names I've got to add to my roster here. An excellent group of players, keeping it close against established talents, but ultimately it's all going to be put down to these 5 minutes of regulation.
Benroy chasing to try to find that challenge. He's just a little bit too slow, which means that Bonk can set up not 1 but 2 shots. Miho can't catch back up to that one. And now off the corner, he uses a lot of boost to not get possession ball, but actually Kekos can sink in, and that's a great place pass to Miho. Had to play it high into the left. Some defender was right there in front of him. And ReckenRockets, they were tested early, 45 seconds in. They've managed to hold strong and make sure that brick wall is built in front of their net.
You know, keeps that space closed in the corner. Kekos, though, goes for an unfortunate touch. One of those we saw early today where they're looking for it soft off that back wall. It doesn't quite land as they would like, wanting it rolling up, and instead that just gives away an attacking chance for their opponents. This time, though, they won't fall victim to it. There's a bump on the final lines. Bonk giving ReckenRockets a taste of their own medicine, but just like some of the attacks of ReckenRockets, not quite had that finishing product. That's just going to go in.
Ooh. Really? Okay.
What?
Kekos, where is anybody? Even on the replay, nobody's there. Zedo goes and doesn't win the challenge. And with both Pinroy and Green on their rotation back, it turns into a very unfortunate circumstance. That's Rocket League, I won't say 101, maybe 201. It's a little bit more of an advanced class, but Zedo has to recognize when you're that deep as a third man, committing and not winning the challenge, it's a bad idea. Luckily, though, they get away with murder there as that ball goes off the post and back out, and both rebounding attempts from Bonk go astray.
Mustn't forget as well, it's a best of 7 weighted against the winner of this series in the grand finals. £100 worth of prize pool, £30 already guaranteed as an entrance fee. And you push yourself up to 70 if you can take that series win. As it stands, I still need to see a little bit more off the side of Bonk if they want me believing that they are going to stand a chance against that Scald eSports side. And of course, That will reign true as well for ReckenRockets. Currently sitting behind. It could be doubled up if they can take this chance instead. It's all 3 men on the commit. 0 finding that killer shot. ReckenRockets now on the counter.
Finroy, back wall, really difficult read from Kekaz. He's actually not going to be able to, as Miho will come in to rescue his teammate. Zeto working with the demo on the enemy team. Just trying to interrupt Kekaz as this shot comes out, and ReckenRockets, recognizing they have the main advantage, make this really tricky defensively for Bonk, and the shot was well placed by Green.
113 kPa, jet fuel behind it. That's how you want to grab this game back. You want to make it well worked. You want to make it all yours. You just want to look like the better team. They did in that attack. And now it's to try and maintain that consistency throughout the remainder of this game. To see yourself on top. And to play in that final affair. For now, though, is Bonk looking to respond quick. I said they were that grizzly bear, and that stick has been prodded multiple times throughout this best of 5. Kekos and to inflict some damage from his own lines. It is picked up by Mio. Dino is bumped off the play, but still manages to use his flick to recover himself. That's bought some time for teammates to all regroup. That boost is certainly going to be the advantage of Bonk. A slowdown in play, I don't think it's exactly what they were looking for. Strong 50s from ReckenRockets.
Not a big fan of that sequence there from ReckenRockets, but it doesn't come back to bite them, as Green will collect that full boost, lose the ball, but now be an outlet potential for that pass. Kekos will read it well and intercept it. Shot on. Good reactions there from Miho. Dino off that sidewall. Kekos gets demoed. Just a temporary open net. Green going to be patient with it. Recognize Mio can challenge. Lose that 50. Just wide right of the net, so ReckenRockets will not find the go-ahead. Zeno's on this, though! He has a full take a boost and so much time in the air, he'll find the go-ahead.
That is an incredible recovery. Quick thinking, confidence, with all the pressure against him on Champions Field. If that's the goal to win the series, by all means, that is the spot in the grand final earned, but late drama has been a characteristic of this affair between these two teams. Bonk still have more play to give.
Both teams slow down the pace of play, collect themselves as Bonk. Our backs are against the wall, they're on the ropes. They need to get out of their half in this remaining 30 seconds and find a goal in order to force overtime. Green, great challenge. Zeto going to take a small little turn, but he's up late compared to Kekos, which means Pinroy has to just steer that aside and get ready for the next attack from Bonk. One corner to the other. Kekos jumps from some half, and that's a crucial whiff. It forces his team to expend boost in order to keep this pressure going. Miho, soft touch over to Kekos. This one dropped down. They're just going to play that soft in their own corner, and Pinroy going to look to trap this, burn as much time as possible. Dino, foot reset. He was hoping for more power, and despite the effort from Bonk, ReckenRockets will hold on in Game 5 and see it all the way through.
What a run from the Rockets. From defeats in the winners' quarterfinals, all the way to grand, top 2 secured, a share of the prize pool guaranteed for their pockets, and a defeat against Bonk of all teams as well. That's one of your higher seeded sides. That's got so many established names on that roster. You've got to give them that credit.
Give me a second here.
Okay. Conte looking to get himself back, and I believe as well there's going to be a notification hopefully on the stream very soon if what is happening is what I expect to be happening by the end of this stream. There we go. There's a nod of his head there. We spoke about the pockets getting filled for ReckenRockets. It's going to be emptied on the side of my American in this economy as well that they've got going over there. This is going to be bad for his future, just off the back of his Thanksgiving as well, heading into Christmas. There's going to be a donation added to the stream. A little bit of spoilers there whilst that comes through, but My goodness, what a performance that was from ReckenRockets. Bonk were a team, but especially after that upper finals performance, I thought we were going to see a rematch against Skuld eSports in Grands. But you've got to expect, there it is. It has gone through 100 bits from Quanzek. That is a full dollar. I thought we were only going to be getting 80.
I've never actually given bits before. I don't know how to change the amount. Additionally, why is it so hard to donate bits? I couldn't find the button for forever. I accidentally purchased 100 bits twice because I didn't know how to donate them. Twitch, what are we doing? I've actually been scammed.
Oh my goodness. And we just heard the voice of Hazard as well in the background. That means you have more to give if you want to put a bet on the grand finals, but I'm sure we'll give you some time to think about that. We are going to have a quick break before this grand finals. It gives some time for the ReckenRockets to dust themselves off after what has been an extravagant lower bracket run heading into this final matchup. Bonk face defeat, but the big bosses, the French-speaking side of Skuld eSports, fresh off the back of a ban for one of the players, will be looking to try and take the bigger chunk of our £100 prize pool. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll see you after the break. It is time for the penultimate Redirect 3v3 monthly grand final of the year. Huh?
I thought penultimate
right,
was second to last. Am I wrong?
It is second to last. We got December still to go, Konzak. This is November.
Oh, you said of the year. I thought you were talking about of the day. My bad. My bad. My bad. I was like, we're in the grand finals. What are you talking about?
Cortex is ready to go. All his focus is on today, and what a day of action it has been so far. One of the most high octane, high fennec, I guess you could say, matchup of the day in the upper finals for Skald eSports versus Bonk. That game went the full distance, and we had another series go the full distance again in the lower finals, but it felt like a very different dynamic of series. Instead of both teams being forced to their best performances, instead you could feel that constricted nature of these two teams in the lowers, where they were a bit desperate at times to get themselves over the line, but sometimes that is what higher level Rocket League can consist of, and they are going to be ever more desperate in this grand final, having to face such a tough side like Skald eSports. I mean, predictions of that lower finals were completely thrown out the window. Can ReckenRockets do it again?
I'm gonna say, oh man, my gut wants to say no, Pig. But they've just cost me $1.40 out of my wallet, so
ouch.
More than my net worth. I'm in the negative now.
Right.
I'm gonna continue to go against my better judgment and probably say that Skald eSports walk away with this one. They impressed me so much, and I think Bonk put together a couple of fluky goals and wins in that upper final that made it seem closer than it actually was. And ReckenRockets, while I do think they looked good, they looked good in a series that felt odd against Bonk that had just lost to Skald eSports, and I think we're going to get much more to the norm, and if it's the norm that I'm expecting, Skald should win this candidly.
Rematches are not given, they are earned, and ReckenRockets have earned their spot here in the grand finals versus Skald eSports. They do have that one game disadvantage as a result of the weighted best of 7 format we use, but ReckenRockets are a team that are against expectations. They let the gameplay do the talking, so bring it on! The final series of the day, Skald eSports taking on the Rockets.
Oh man, and we're not missing a beat from that upper final. Enrique collecting this from Skyrix, avoids the defender on the sidewall, collects that flip reset, and places it around the zero boost Pinroy. That is off to a blistering start of exactly what we're expecting from the Skald eSports team.
Sure, but ReckenRockets, once it gets to those later stages of the game, that's where they've been the team to step up a bit more, especially when those kickoffs become a factor as well. They were not able to make the most of that first one coming out of this grand finals. Eric, though, will be looking to make the most of that left wall. Mamillo is caught close inside, wants to take it off that corner. Green hits that ball dangerously off his backwater play. Stay central. Speaking of dangerous balls, Eric is going to be going for the psycho. Green, though, able to pick the ball up himself, won't get any second touches, so Eric is able to reset.
Bump. Pinroy recognizing that pass wasn't to Enric himself, who had zero boost, instead to Mamillo, and so we'll go ahead and bump the recipient out of the way, but now he's back involved as Pinroy has 1 of 50 against 2 players simultaneously and played a great infield pass to Green, so ReckenRockets have equalized our scoreline here.
Well, we said, never count this team out. Sure, they'll concede early in the first, but pick up some pace. Give him a bit of possession, some time as well to go for a lot of these more physical plays. Those goals will be thrown right back. It's a very different style of roster that Skald eSports got used to against Bonk in the upper finals. Hold on a minute, it's a kickoff goal. This time, it doesn't go to the university side.
Skald eSports 2-1 now, and once again, the kickoff goal. The second one, much more underwhelming than the first was, but they count all the same. Skyrix challenge on the Pinroy. This one collected by Green. He will go and skate along the sidewall in order to chase that ball as a good pop into a double flip reset. I mean, he does it with such ease. You can't help but just watch in awe. He's still involved in his play on zero boost. Mamillo gonna intentionally fake it, hoping Skyrix was close enough for the play, but Enrique gonna call himself up still on negligible boost. He somehow managed to get this infield, but Mamillo can't get there to punish that ball into the back of the net.
And then Eric is getting all the tough sections of this attack all worked out to set it up inside, and it felt like the easy part of it, the completely open net. couldn't be reached by his teammates. That should be goal number 3. There's rule number 1 being played in the corner temporarily. The redirect 3v3 monthly is the redirect 2v2 monthly. We have the first installments during the last. This is going to be number 2. Milo is in that 1v1 position. Pindroy is bummed. There's the third we were waiting for.
It only felt like a matter of time, and ReckenRockets has shown a little bit of heart, but they do just look outpaced right now on the pitch. They're going to have to hit that upper gear, change that ratio in order to have a pace that'll match that of Scald eSports. Here's Enrique from the sidewall. He did get that flip. I didn't think he got it at first, but I should never doubt a Frenchman, huh?
You really shouldn't. Milo, not going to doubt him on that defense either. Pindroy. And it's a little bit of a desperate touch there. Isn't going to create any advancements in their offense. That touch looked like he could do so, but the delayed 50 was intelligent from Zedo, as was that bump afterwards. How about that hit off Mamilo? Ends up being that ball out of their possession. But I respect the idea behind it.
I mean, you could see it was 100% intentional. Enrique waited for Mamilo to get bumped and then angled his car to play directly off of him. But now, because the failure of the clearance, they're in a little bit of some trouble sometimes here defensively. Great double redirect from Enrique. Yes, it was indeed mentioned, Pig. Zedo booming clearance quickly to get that out of ReckenRockets half and put pressure immediately back on the Scald eSports. While they have been in the blue half for a long time, they haven't really generated any shots off of it. This could be something here. Redirect from Pindroy won't get through. And both these teams just content to try to see who makes the first mistake.
I believe that play earlier when Mamilo was at his one post and just decided he was going to air dribble it across to the second, even with plays looking to try and bump him off the play. He's bumped off his own play here. It's Skyrake's looking for the double reset. The demo comes through as a miss there from Pindroy. It should be the strike for Enrique instead. Green able to make that save out. Mamilo gets that ball back down, and Skyrake's is going to be forced into those safety corners. Another opportunity running away from either one of these sides, but Scald eSports are happy for the remainder to be goalless.
Pass over. Milo won't be able to get a piece of that. Nobody will. In fact, this ball will just drop back down to the turf. Enrique collecting. Flip reset. He loves these, but with no boost in the tank, just going to let it go. Says, you know what? Your turn, Green. Green drives it towards the net and watches teammate get demoed from across the pitch. Scald eSports have really done nothing since this clock dropped beneath 3 minutes, but they haven't had to. They already earned the 3-goal lead, and they may be getting too cute now as ReckenRockets do find an open net, purely because Scald are just feeling themselves. Enrique jumps for that ball for whatever reason. All 3 members go, and now ReckenRockets have a chance to equalize this in our game 2.
That one was straight up thrown away. But they've been going for goals like that for the entirety of this game. We've seen them double up on many occasions. Here's a kickoff strike coming out here. A player pushing up high to those mid boosts. Not going to be able to collect still, though. Will position himself on the opposite side in case Milo can get that 50. Well, ReckenRockets do well to get the defense. 10 seconds to try and equalize the score. Earn themselves another overtime. They did it on numerous occasions in the lower final, but this is a different caliber of competition. Scald eSports just have to hit the ground. Mamilo has got an opportunity to do so. Enrique does one more for the road, but that comes off the corner. That's going to be a play that favors ReckenRockets.
Oh my lord.
Well, they are just styling on them. Throw the professionalism out the window. This team is pure entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. Throwing the professionalism out the window. They intentionally keep it alive. Risk an equalizer goal, but are so confident in their ability to put salt in the wound that has been gashed open for ReckenRockets that they score a 4th goal just for fun and walk away with this game 2 victory. 2-0 now because they did walk in with that game advantage. And now pressure's going to be on ReckenRockets when they're going to be playing up to that level of Scald eSports. Being down is not a place you want to be. They showed some glimpses of what they can bring to the table, but Scald is just so efficient, so dangerous from legitimately anywhere on the pitch. It's a caliber of team that, as you mentioned earlier, just has not been seen in the Redirect Monthly in a while, and they look the part big.
I can't tell if they're a coach's dream or a coach's nightmare, because I've spoken to a few coaches in the scene, and I think back to a conversation I had with Nordic Verdane, who spent quite a lot of his career working with Smashy, who's a highly mechanical player, but just needed a little bit of his game sense to get together to give him that extra mile. And Nordic said, look, I can trust that whatever I tell him, he will have the capabilities to be able to do it as long as he listens. School eSports look like they are that roster that if you ask them to do something, by all means, they will be able to do it. Whether they will or not, whether they will go for that extra pass instead of just slamming the ball down to guarantee themselves a win is put up to contention. So I'd love to have a conversation there with the Skull boys to see what the case is in that regards. But starting off, I was about to say smiles on their faces to open up the score. Instead, Zedo has been able to drag this one to safety.
Yeah, it could have been dangerous there. And Enrique, I feel, well, you know, they're styling out there. They feel so good. With that being said, I'm worried the Skull team might be getting too... Oh, my.
Why? Why in the grand finals do you have this level of confidence? Skyrix calls off the Milo. It's 2 players on the ball. But they've got that link up. The first player abandons and they go all the way. They don't get the open net in early, but give them an impossible task and they will somehow solve every problem.
I'm legitimately speechless.
Why?
They're just going for psychos for fun.
Oh my goodness. They almost pulled it off as well. That was going to be the easiest double tap for Enrique if that backboard wasn't defended. Or ReckenRockets learn fast that that's not a position that you leave available to these opponents. Skyrix steals this ball once more. They're playing so close to each other right now. It is truly just picking off a play off each other each time. But when you play so close and you play so high, you're going to concede a few goals like this. They did concede a goal like this in the game beforehand, but just very happy to score more goals than you, and they'll do it in style. But ReckenRockets have got to use this hubris to their favor.
Yeah, I mean, you watch the downside of playing so close to each other play out in real time. You can be so threatening and so lethal when you're that bunched up. Defense has to deal with not 1 but 2, but potentially 3 of you at the same time. But one long, strong clearance with nobody getting in the way, and it's going to be a goal. So Skull eSports, a temporary moment of freestyling there, Pig, and we'll go ahead and screw their heads on straight to regain this lead, and I'm sure we'll see more freestyling after that. Skyrix can't get the ball, gets demoed, and has to watch his teammate find a fantastic save coming across that goal line.
Enrique wall dashes in the corner to try and get himself around it. Will allow Skyrix to take possession first. Will loom behind that heavy 50, however. Will be all ReckenRockets. Doesn't find the target on that occasion. This 50, though, is all up to that loose ball. Finding speed. That bump didn't affect Enrique. But that hit from his teammate straight onto his car was going to be the touch to do all the damage.
Oh, no. Okay, well, Skull, they've been feeling confident, they've been feeling cute, they've gone really creative and really just freestyling out here with their plays, but now that they're in a deficit, I'm sure we'll see them attempt to lock in. The cause for caution about that whole for fun playstyle is you end up in holes like this, where it's hard to realign your wits and make sure that you're locking back in because you've been playing the game for fun for so long. Skyrix doesn't have any boost, doesn't have a ton of agency for where to put that ball, ends up passing it straight over to Zedo, and now ReckenRockets somehow lead by 2.
You don't want to be giving ReckenRockets a game here if you can put them in a must reverse sweep situation. I mean, we have seen reverse sweeps attempted before in the Redirect Monthly Grand Finals, and every single time they've been one off going all the way. That extra game advantage has made the difference in numerous occasions. Yeah, ReckenRockets, though, able to shut down another attack. That's just a clear-cut counter. Gifted away once more by Skull.
Yeah, they haven't learned their lesson. Enrique just pre-jumps the living daylight out of his teammate. And when Skyrix Mamilo opts not to play it over to him, nobody's home defensively. Now they're down by 3. I don't know if this team is feeling so confident that they can just come back whenever here. This will be the start of it. Skyrix doesn't get the double. Enrique will not get the double. It's off the crossbar and back out. Mamilo denied defensively by Zedo. And so, Scald, the immediate answer will not be picked up on. Again, though, the question, I don't know if this team's just so confident that they can come back instantly, or they just haven't figured out that this team is actually worthwhile, and you need to give them their respect.
ReckenRockets are an extremely strong team defensively. They've shown that today. If there's a team that I would back to hold across all these final dwindling minutes and seconds, it would be them. But this is another all-in play that they get nothing out of. It is somewhat pinched. It is somewhat unfortunate. You just cannot be putting yourselves in those positions in the first place. This, I'm going to say, it will be a ReckenRockets win. I do not see Scald eSports coming back in the next 90. They really need to shape themselves up heading into that next game, because if they continue playing this game a little bit silly, like they have done in this second game, they will not pick up another series. They earned themselves that head start, the right to play like they did in the first played game of the Grand Finals after an extended start.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. If they had gotten their wits about them down by 2 with 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, it's definitely doable, but they continued to goof off and now will be burning their earned one-game advantage just for the sake of freestyling in a tournament format. So we'll go to 2-1 in series score over to Scald eSports still, but if they don't change how they're playing this game, then I think they got to get ready for the long haul. That's a great on-the-goal line save found by Pinroy. They won't let them have any real way back in this game, even if it is earned, recognizing momentum is strongly in ReckenRockets' favor right now.
I know that we're not promoting it right now, but these psycho touches have been unbelievably consistent from Scald eSports. They've gone for it maybe 4 or 5 times so far in this grand final. The second touch has been solid in every single occasion, and finding a teammate in the meantime. Of course, a useful tool to have, not one that should be abused in every position. Scald eSports take their time away from competitive play to attempt a freestyler show match against ReckenRockets. That won't get you the fairest share of the prize pool. They still maintain the lead due to the weighted start. Our momentum now firmly on the sides of the ReckenRockets.
Yep, we know the quality of team that Scald eSports can be. It's just about whether or not they actually want to play like that. Your example of talking to the coach regarding exactly the quality of, you can coach them and they have the talent to listen, but yes, whether or not they actually want to is a whole other topic entirely. And, well, we're seeing it here in real time of Scald more content to mess around and freestyle than close out the tournament. It's coming back to bite them. Will they learn their lesson in Game 3? Will they bounce back, or will they continue to have fun? I'm not saying you shouldn't have fun playing video games. That's why we all enjoy them. But in a tournament format, to close out the grand finals may not be the time.
For me, it's vital that Scald eSports take this next game just to stiff arm their opponents, keep them out of range, because I feel like once this does go to a neutral series, ReckenRockets are going to smell that blood in the water. They are going to step up. This is a team that has the capabilities to do so, as we have learned today, and as they've been able to successfully do off-stream as well when you look earlier in the bracket. But it's less of a question of ReckenRockets. It's more of a question of how Scald eSports are going to come out quick at the gates. They freestyled for their first goal and tried to freestyle for the rest in the game beforehand. They need some well-worked Rocket League to earn themselves the right. ReckenRockets will not allow them to come back from a deficit.
Well, they've looked better thus far. Tighter rotations. They're not toying around with the ball when they get possession of it. Enrique towards the net will force out a double. It is the smallest team pinch I think I've ever seen. It does count as a pinch regardless, though, as Zedo will play that over to Enrique, who's looking for Mamilo towards the net.
Oh.
Good shot on, but Green was ready for the save.
That was the right way to use your mechanics. Maintain your position, but sure, if you can get that extra shot across, by all means use it. And Enrique off that ceiling. Ball falls back to Mamilo. Already has that teammate Skyrix waiting right behind him. He's going to be an option here for that drop-down ball. At 50 lands well. And Enrique has to predict that bounce. It was unfortunate for him, but still managing to get a touch. Zedovo was on the other side of it. Now it's reduced down to must 50 here from Mamilo. Game somewhat neutralized. Could open up, though, with this backboard read. What a clearance from Green.
Enrique, good collection there off the sidewall. Flip reset. Double bang! No! Mamilo will make sure to help his team out and secure the goal. 1-0 Scald Esports, and this is par for the course of what we expected. They're still flashy, but getting the job done, not just flashy for the sake of showing off.
Of course, they're keeping their composure. They are creating magic. They are opening up that space, but it is for that exact sake. They're playing ReckenRockets out of book, but if you do go for all of these pre-jump plays, that's just leaving gaps in space. And we've noticed a lot more often that there has been an available third man for some of the defensive clearances that ReckenRockets have thrown out, and that already is such a big difference maker compared to what we saw in the game previous.
Zedo thought he might have had a chance for that dunk. Instead, it's Enrique with a well-timed flip reset. Pass over to him. That's a great tic-tac-toe play. Skyrix can't get big enough to bully his way through two, however. And so this ball back out towards Scald Esports net. And with no boost in the tank, awkward positioning, Zedo will make sure that scoreline is at once.
Enrique stayed front-footed. Felt like that was going to be a time to bail back. That's what conceded that 1v1. And Zedo backs himself in those kinds of positions. It's the #1 worst player on the other side for Scald Esports to have possession in those kinds of positions. But either way, this has been a much more well-built game from either side. This is really feeling like a grand final, whereas the first two that were played out didn't necessarily have that same tension surrounding it. Now the atmosphere is different. Scald Esports have been wounded. ReckenRockets feel that taste of power. Zedo's looking to take this one low, not the backboard. Instead, second man is going to be called towards. Mamilo will get that pinch alongside him, moves it towards their favor. Some space is taken. Now Zedo surely beaten by Mamilo.
Well, that flip really poorly timed there from Penroy. That's going to open up the door for a potential Scald Esports goal. But Green does really well to win the challenge. Play that ball all the way in the corner and come away with a stolen full boost. Mamilo backflip save. Good positioning there on that far post to not bite in further towards the center of the net. Skyrix will get possession of the ball. And Enrique here in the corner. As Mamilo, he was so awkward. He got a lot of that ball on the 50, but because he wasn't on the ground, his car was really just a backboard that ball ricocheted off of and eventually went into the net via courtesy of Green.
It was an ugly way to concede, but it's exactly what ReckenRockets need. I've gone for somewhat of a kickoff here. Want to tip this one out wide, but Skyrix was able to read it. That's that cheater, Mamilo. Gets this one high off the wall, and I said that this is going to be one of those grand finals that you do not want to allow that lower seeded team to close the gap that weight has given you the advantage of. Because now that this ReckenRockets side have found a bit of pace, this is the strongest, frankly, that they have looked all day. It hasn't been chaotic. They haven't been giving away any freebies. It has been solid Rocket League in comparison to what is just the high energy nature that Scald Esports looks to try and counter them with.
Yeah, it's been disciplined Rocket League really from ReckenRockets that have gotten them into this point. Skyrix, great pass. So he's going to have to play it all the way across because it would have been read by ReckenRockets, and possession is more important than a hopeful shot on the net at this point in time. That's a great challenge by Zedo. Skyrix has to backtrack and just find any sort of pop touch. Enrique plays it forward, but that demo means there's no recipient for the pass. Now with only 30 seconds on the clock, Scald Esports could find themselves in a very unlikely series tie.
This is a very German style of Rocket League. A very classic German style of Rocket League, I should say. They kept it simple. They have played with the minds of their opponents. They're just looking to keep it solid, keep play moving forward, get that boost advantage when they can, be composed on their goal line, and they will see a game out if they need to. Only 4 seconds left to try and do so, but Mamilo could take this ball up the wall. He does just about. Enric's got a full tank as well across. It's going to be awkward onto that first ball, and Skyrix jumps early, but this is professional as you'd like. ReckenRockets slam this ball down, and now our grand finals has been reduced to a best of 3.
And now you're in a position where if you're Scald Esports, you wish you had that last game back. You had to win, and it was only a 1-goal lead, and you started freestyling for fun and got absolutely stomped 5-1, and now ReckenRockets are full of confidence, they're full of motivation, they're full of power in an equal series. You talked about before that game started that if ReckenRockets were going to be able to win, they would have smelled the blood in the water, and I think they do. They're playing lights out right now. It's solid, foundational Rocket League. And Scald Esports, yes, they're flashy. Yes, they look good doing it, and they've had a lot of good scoring opportunities, but they're still letting some gimmies go, and all tied up now. They've lost more games than they've won by playing. They're only in this series because they had that game advantage.
And this is the 29th Redirects 3v3 monthly, and as time has gone on, the competition has gotten higher, and what it takes to call yourself a Redirects 3v3 monthly champion has changed. 26 teams heading into this monthly were 2k plus. These are the two that stand here in the grand finals. Is it the flashy mechanics? Is it the solidity in your play? Is it countering exactly what your opponents have? Or is it a mix of everything you could ask for? This is a defining grand final for the nature of calling yourself a champion of these monthlies. Game 4 is underway. Bring it on to these two sides. I've been impressed with what I've seen so far, but now it's time to get the job done.
Milo off the ceiling, and Enric will collect flip reset, has Skyrix waiting. He's actually just going to opt just to leave it and then collect the pass from Skyrix into the same corner. He's gotten the full boost in that interim, and it won't last long as Green just catches his own pass and plays it away. Enric back flip pass over to Mamilo. He comes with a lot of pace so he can win the 50 high over Pendroy, and this one sent from one corner to the neutral zone of the other. Skyrix swinging back for defense, plays it into the corner. Both sides seemingly respecting the other, which ReckenRockets, that's come over the time of the series. Scald Esports, I think it's about time they did.
Certainly demos coming out though here from Scald. ReckenRockets produce a man with a fake instead. Hello takes this towards the corner. Milo will steal that boost, gets a demo as well for his trouble. Space will open up. It was actually neutral on either side. Another temporary 2v2 on the pitch. Indroid goes for that low 50. Zedo, he's waiting right behind. That's an early jump coming from Skyrix, but it was well calculated. Still goalless as we approach the end of this second minute mark, and it has continued like the game beforehand to have this really back and forth, rather neutral affair.
Drop down from Skyrix, just going to take a hopeful shot at the net. There's 100% of the shots that you don't take, and there wasn't really a better option for that play. Zedo actually gets the bump and still stays on this ball. Pinboy can't get it with the pre-jump, so now it's a 1v1. Skyrix versus Green. Zedo. Oh my gosh! No, I thought that play was over. Zedo, the back check was so strong, but Skyrix turns that little bump he got from Zedo into a bump of his own.
Unbelievable! But all parts of the capabilities of this roster, when used efficiently, when it is required out of the play, the differences can be made. This isn't just a team of consistency. Characteristically, this is a team of moment, and that is one to rally the troops.
Skyrix Drop down. Green's going to get a piece of this here, Pig. And man, this is really dangerous for Skull. Mamillo, good defense there, chasing it down. Goes Anric. Pop up. He has a chance at the net. Going to drive it through. Try posture to get that 50 into the net. Green, the backboard defense for ReckenRockets has been so consistent, even if it isn't exactly over their net. They found in the corners, they found huge clearances. Anytime Skull eSports has had a little bit of agency, that's when it's come back to bite them, and this ball goes into Skull eSports corner, back towards the net, and Arik gonna make sure it gets into the far left.
Mamillo takes it over once more. Zedo will clear that ball out wide. He's got 100 boosts as well as his resource. That comes off the corner, falls dangerously towards a ReckenRockets play. That physicality coming out once more in that final man, but no one was available to get that job done. And don't you worry, Quantec, that ball is slightly off. Going to start from their own lines. It's tactical, but it does leave you worried for a second. But ReckenRockets typically very calm when it comes to being in their own third. They don't give away shots like that easily, and they are in their favor. Green has to beat 2 players. The first one was still too much.
And Arik off the sidewall, trying to stay with this. In fact, Green's going to fumble, do a little haphazard pogo off the sidewall, which means Skull can come in uncontested. Mamillo nearly able to get that bump onto Green. Well, ultimately was not able to transpire, so the defense holds firm for ReckenRockets. Mamillo towards the net as Zedo back out, and this could be dangerous. Double tap off the sidewall. Won't manifest that one. A whiff from Arik, and that's the first one I think I've seen from him all night. I'm sure he's going to want that touch back.
Destiny Fair's a goal out of this attack. It's a save coming off. And Arik gets that pinching ball forward. Here's an opportunity for a second goal. It comes off high of that back wall as a full commit from Arik. There looks to be a temporary 3v1. It's thrown inside, but that Lone Ranger Skyrix still gets that clearance forward. Will Skull eSports keep it up? ReckenRockets need them to do so. Zedo's going to try and dribble the whole way. Has teammates inside. Does not land the dunk. It's all free towards that front post, but Pindroy prevents this from hitting ground. It comes out once more, and ultimately, Skull eSports put themselves on championship point.
Okay, Pig, we finally have settled into the series. It only took 4 games of played Rocket League before it felt like both these teams were at their peak and trying. Skull eSports gave ReckenRockets the respect they deserved, and ReckenRockets have come into form. 1 goal was the only thing that separated these 2 teams. Shots nearly equal, saves nearly equal, demos nearly equal. We're in a tight-knit series, and Skull eSports have 2 chances to close it out, but ReckenRockets, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Game 7.
It shouldn't be. There was only a 1 goal difference in that last game. If there is 1 card that's slightly disjointed, a 50-50, that doesn't go your way, that's going to OT, and yeah, that happened twice. There you go. ReckenRockets would be the team that have this lead. This truly looks like 2 deserved rosters for this grand final. I know that we've treated ReckenRockets as this unlikely opponents to be in this position.
Yeah.
If they ever sign up for a Redirects monthly again, they have earned my respect. I will never predict against them again. Already, this is such a statement matchup. It's 2-2 if you go for games that have actually been played. Skull eSports, again, only holding that advantage through upper bracket qualification, but hold on a minute, it's a complete capitulation early in the game. Skull eSports have been gifted 1 for free.
Yep, Skyrix just able to tap that one in. It's a really weird back pass from ReckenRockets. It's almost like they thought they spawned on the other side of the map to start there, and Skull eSports given a gift. Maybe it won't matter, and Arik will make sure that goal stays on the board significantly as Mamillo. He had to pass over to Skyrix. He had to have a flip reset just for flair and end up putting it behind his teammate. So the cuteness, the cleverness coming back to bite Skull eSports once more, and ReckenRockets, while they are in a hole, have that to rely on as a little bit of a failsafe. Skull eSports will never just do the simple play, and that's going to mean that this game gets equalized for free.
Mean Green Machine makes it 1-1. It's a gorgeous fake to set up the assist from Pindroy. And Scald eSports couldn't predict any of those plays moving forward. This is what I've said is so characteristic of this ReckenRockets roster. They get physical, they play for these mind games, they try and get the opposing defense out of position bit by bit. They're rather surgical with a lot of their attacks, and when you compare that to the blitzing forward nature of Scald eSports, you have such a two-sided affair for a grand final. Back to even, and I think that's where it deserves to be.
Yep, we have 4 minutes left to see if Scald eSports can close this out before we see a Game 7. Milo turning with that one. Really good touch to chip that over the oncoming defender. That one, though, not as good for Enrique as it goes haphazardly and will clamber off of that sidewall.
Oh.
Enrique infield. Skyrex, really good mechanics to get there. Backflip pass, 2 projected. Green will intercept it. Now Mamilo in dangerous territory. Can't find a save, and so Green will get the rebound. ReckenRockets take the lead.
So intelligent. Knows he's not going to get that initial shot off. Plays for the higher percentage instead. Get rid of the defense. My teammate is fully prepared to extend the scoring. This is 5th seed versus 6th. Both teams looking like they're cut from the same cloth.
Pass down. Skyrex collecting. Really good 50. That's going to guarantee he gets the full boost, and Mamilo gets possession, but Green just challenges. He's been the mark to really be the difference maker for ReckenRockets, at least in terms of defensive capabilities. He's been there to slow down the transition going any which way from Scald. He was the first point of contact right here as well, as Enrique has to backtrack and really make sure this one stays out of their net. Flip reset in the demo means this is nothing but open space for Skyrex. Over the top of one, Green respawning will find the save.
Ledo forward. Green's already up for it, looking for that free backboard. Enrique making that look a little bit less available. The door's shutter closed. Pindroy, though, with a battering ram, looks to open it back up. Zedo, though, a bit too soft of a shot. At first, I didn't even believe it was on target, but a save was credited. Scald eSports were put to work for that one offense. Now need to find some of their own. Pindroy confidently sent that one off his back wall. It's a little bit less safe from my angle, but still down here for Green. Has that teammate on the other side, and for a second I thought they were going to be chasing for the pinch. Scald eSports make sure to disrupt that early.
Pindroy gonna watch someone sail past him. Enrique with a little cheeky shot landing on top of it, trying to get all the way through. Green can't find a piece, and Mamilo has flipped out of the way. That could have been the equalizer. It would have been a hard shot to nail. Skyrex has taken the opportunity away from his teammate Mamilo. Luckily, Enrique is back. This defense from Scald is so clustered. They've gotten the job done, but I'm really not a fan. It'd make me so worried if I was a coach on this team. Can they get an equalizer? Enrique hard off the back wall. Nobody there to help out. Now 90 seconds before we see Champions Field.
Well, Champions Field, unless Scald eSports have anything to say about it. They've come close on a few occasions. This does feel like a game that has started to tip into their favor, and ReckenRockets could fall victims to that. This could be the chance, but Pindroy, confident, up fast, gets to the ball with no real offense there from Scald eSports. The touch was clean. Skyrex looking to try and find a teammate again, but this time it's Zedo who's up before there is any intervention from the opposing side. The interceptions have been quick. The team plays are all failing. Is this the time for some Scald individuality?
Double commits again abound. There's not a whole lot of boost, but the amount of time that clearance took, they're going to restock on it. Zedo off the sidewall, pass down, and 45 seconds has elapsed since that 90-second call. Exactly half of that to find an equalizer now. Pindroy, really good 50. Skyrex has the ball with nobody near him. Full tank of boost. What is the play? Carrying it over. Challenge early. Enrique will take another 50. It filters into the ReckenRockets corner. Nobody wants it, though. Double demo comes about. There's only one player on the pitch for ReckenRockets. They'll be respawning Skyrex towards the net. And Pindroy, good heads up to immediately challenge another demo. And Scald's running out of time.
Ball off the ceiling, another moment required out of Scald eSports. We've seen many highlights throughout today's stream, but that ball goes out of their favor. It looks open for a second, but Mamilo has gotten himself back. Either way, this ball is on the wrong half of the pitch for another redirect monthly to make history. We go to Champions Field.
We'll be getting the full 17, I guess technically 16 games on stream today. One BO5 into a second BO5 into a Game 7 Grand Finals. And Scald eSports have found themselves in a Game 7 where it felt like one of them was completely thrown away. Whether or not that's going to come back to bite them remains to be seen. All I know is that ReckenRockets have played phenomenally in order to get to this point. They've addressed all the issues that they've had. They've played up. They've matched speed. They've gotten the grimy plays through. And you said it last game. I am done disrespecting this team. I was trying to build this whole underdog story, whereas maybe the entire time they were just the favorites coming into the matchup. And now one final game to determine who walks away the victor for redirect number 29. And look, Big, this win is gonna be a statement piece for future monthlies. There's so much talent in here, and the top 4 might be one of the best top 4 we've ever seen.
I don't know that we get prospective players watching these grand finals in the Twitch stream. I hope you're watching this series. I hope that you know this is what it takes to compete in these monthlies. We've seen these grand finals before. Enrique was here a few monthlies back, couldn't go that full distance. He returns once more, and maybe this time he can get himself into the Hall of Fame. Enrique sends this down. Mamilo takes it across. Green will get that save. Instant impact. An instant upshift on Champions Field. They're not going to be slowing down.
Yeah, already a couple saves by ReckenRockets. Scald eSports came out with an artillery barrage, making sure that net was peppered, but defense just too strong defensively. There's a force field put up on front of that orange net. Milo has to watch the shot come through, and oh my gosh, the placement is picture perfect from Pinroy.
Straight out of a training pack. But you only get one chance, one opportunity to take it on at the highest stage against such tough opponents when everything was riding against you. All for one connection. Back of the net. Scald eSports, it's your turn.
It has to be your turn. You need something. That's not going to be it from the Milo. Skyrick's just going to help out his teammate. Play it around one. Enrique will try to find a bump on the Pinroy. Instead, the bump is found on his own teammate. This pass in field. Nobody makes contact until Green, who was just trying to play a challenge. Didn't mean to play that into the corner. Mamilo has demo played out in front of him. That's a great 50 along the sideboard. Enrique downfield. Redirect.
Whoa.
It's a fake from Mamilo intentionally, but nobody's there to catch the pitch pass from Enrique.
Well, you just expected there was going to be a 50 or a clearance some kind from ReckenRockets, and I believe the second and third of Scald eSports fought the exact same. That's why no one was prepared. Someone has to, and this instance is not quite on target. You see 3 ReckenRockets players leap like salmons, neither make a connection. A little bit of panic on the lines has been rare, but that has been the case. This time, though, not going to be punished as a result. Enrique looking for the coast to coast. We've seen many nationalities. This is Brazilian impression. All 3 players were involved in one attack there, but ReckenRockets, as has been characteristic, do well to neutralize. That's a scary chance in the corner.
Enrique playing this one. Pop-up touch over the left side while this clock continues to tick down against Scald eSports. Mamilo can't really make contact. That was a weird sequence as he puts his body on the line now to allow Enrique the space. And while it wasn't a demo for Scald, the interference from Mamilo was enough. He just goes and says, take my body. It's going to be used for good. Scald able to find the equalizer off the backs of it.
And it was number 27, where Enrique was here as Lantique eSport. They were pushed to game 6. They were not able to beat the multinational team of Rash. This time, though, has pushed it that extra difference. He's gotten himself that goal. This could be his redemption. Will it be another case of always the bridesmaid, never the bride? ReckenRockets, that is all dictated by them.
And Enrique towards the net. Miller trying to cause interference. Found a bump on the way out. And a really good challenge. Scald somehow still on the offensive. Had that demo not transpired from Green, it would have been a layup pass right in the crease of ReckenRockets' net. Zedo dropped down to Pinroy. Pinroy shot opportunity. Skyrix will race for it from the corner. Make sure that never transpires. Skyrix. Great ball, but nobody's there to catch it, which means Pinroy, I thought he was going to have possession all alone. Skyrix launches himself at the ball and finds contact. Mimilo can't find a challenge, and Enrique will be back just in time. 60 seconds on the clock, and there's nothing differentiating these two teams.
It looks like it could be going to OT. Skull eSports, though, looking to change out. Enrique on that opposite end, stopped by Pinroy. Green is up fast, will be a self-setup. Skyrix, though, able to intercept quickly. Zedo wants a teammate. That teammate, though, is already running his way back to defense. Green does well on the recovery to push that ball towards Skyrix. Pinroy, again, it's another desperate ball. That's going to be a turnover in possession. Another one of those essentially psychos attempted. This time off a corner by Skull eSports. Does pick up that bit of pace. And that's going to be a ball giving away to Zedo again. Has to fight in the corner. Skyrix is just there.
Officially going goal territory now. The next one's going to seal the deal. Mamilo on the back wall playing it out. That's denied by Zedo, and ReckenRockets are looking for last second heroic shot on Green. No, it's denied by two players from Skull eSports diving at it, and Skull would be content to let this drop. Will he get the opportunity? Will he get something on the other end of the pitch? Skyrix! No! The race back defensively will not allow that one to go through, and we will get overtime game 7.
No messing about now. Next goal for the championship. And it looks like there was opportunities to get it done in regulation, but you throw that aside now. One more play. Is this the one? Skyrix can't find the target. Mimilo comes on low. Zedo just cannot reach. Bruised fingertips and a win for Skull eSports.
Zedo got a piece of it, but it's such a tricky shot to defend. He has to cover the entire net by his lonesome, and it's a bounce shot that ricochets off his car and in. Skull eSports went the distance. We thought they might have squandered their opportunity, but they hang on and find a victory in Game 7 overtime.
And well done, Enrique. He'll be taking home the MVP for that final game. And I mentioned it before, second place in monthly number 27. Took a little bit of a break, came back with a completely different team, and with a different team, it was a different story. ReckenRockets tried as they would like. They fought so fiercely in that grand finals and below us as well. And from the looks of it, the games that were off stream too, but ultimately, they just couldn't go that final difference. That one game, that upper final qualification, ultimately paying dividends for Skull.
Man, that was such a phenomenal grand final. I thought so many times it was going to go one way or the other, but ultimately, congratulations to Skull eSports, ReckenRockets. I mean, they look so good at times, Pig, and they have earned our respect moving forward into future monthlies. I'd be happy to see them down the line and see what they can do. Ladies and gentlemen, the next monthly is December 27th. Signups are now live. Make sure you're following Redirect on all socials associated, !mark Discord, !mark Twitter. Make sure you're involved in those future tournaments. And you know, Pig, I've had a lovely time along here with you. It always is a joy with you in the booth, but we're not the only ones involved today.
Absolutely not. Of course, there is the one and only Hazard, who's been doing all the production and the adminning work as per usual. Usually, he's also doing the observing work, but today we actually had Smoody come in and take the mantle. So thank you very much, Smoody, for getting that job done. And wow, we really got our Smoody's worth, I guess you could say, content, because we played the maximum amount of games available. I am not too sure if that has happened before in a Redirects Monthly. If it has, it definitely can be counted on one or two hands. It has not happened all that often. But as well, I do want to give a shout out that we do have a community casters with sign-ups open for anyone who would like to cast some of the earlier games of the Redirect Monthly action. We'll be back for December. It's going to be a little bit of a late Christmas present for all of you at home to compete or watch another one of these monthlies. It has been myself, Sir Pegasus, once more joined by Quanzag. We'll see you all for the final Redirect 3v3 monthly of the year. Goodbye.